Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
What's up? It's Monday night, which means good, Scotty?
Oh, you had the.
What do we got? Okay, sorry guys. What do you got going?
You had the show. You had me muted.
Okay, sorry guys. What a great intro. It's Monday night, which means it's time for your favorite motocross podcast, the Vital MX MotoXpod show, presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. All jokes aside, though, we're jumping in to save the day because some other podcast just can't seem to keep his schedule straight and do a show when he's supposed to. But for a Monday night, we have a great lineup with Monster Energy, Yamaha Star Racing's Haiden Deegan, the 2024 250 motocross champion, and Rockstar Husqvarna's RJ Hampshire are all going to jump on. RJ just finished the season with a podium at Ironman, so there's lots to talk about. Lots to talk about just in general with Ironman. What a freaking great race, at least in my opinion. We got Chase Sexton winning the 450 outdoor title. Roxon on a 250. Yeah, it'd be cool if he was on a 50. You're still muted. It'd be cool if he was on a 50, but he was on a 250.
He probably felt like he was on a 50. Yeah.
Eli Tomac had a really great ride. We're going to talk about MXDN and a lot more. But first up, in studio, Scotty Thompson. Do you like my Scotty or Scott?
Do I have a choice at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I think I've ever called you Scott.
Yeah, I guess I've always kind of been a Scotty, I guess. My name's not Scotty, but.
Oh, really?
It's Scott, but
all
it's,
right, well,
yeah.
Scotty Thompson.
Yeah.
Working the cameras. Yeah. So what
you
was
had when you were showing the live link, you had the web page still open, and it was playing on there.
Sweet.
Not my fault. That was not
No,
me.
it is your fault. You should have checked all that as the producer.
No. Anyways,
Travis
glad to
Marks
be
would
here.
have had that handled.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you in. And in studio, since TJ, once again, just can't trust. You can't count on him for anything.
I mean,
you can't count.
He's letting us use his RV this weekend. So.
Yeah.
He's already gone, so who cares? You can't
Good
take
point.
it back.
Good
Yeah,
point.
it's at Spencer, so it's good.
But in studio from 710 Designs, Chase Moore. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Ready to have a great show. It's going to be fun to talk to Haiden and RJ. The Haiden interview should be really good. Lot of topics to get to. We're going to try to get to our YouTube chat and our Vital MX questions from the forum, but there are a lot of topics to get to with Haiden tonight, so we're going to do our best to get to everything. But we're going to start with the Racetech Open discussion, and Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company with over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. Along with suspension, they are building a reliable world-class engine which requires a combination of state-of-the-art equipment and experienced, knowledgeable technicians. Racetech provides quality, precision engine services using the best equipment and processes in the industry. So check out racetech.com, find your local service center. You can get your suspension done, get it revalved, get it resprung. I'm going to have to do some stuff with my KTM 350 with Racetech real soon. Find out who your local tech is. He'll be around your local track more than likely. So racetech.com, supporting the show. We appreciate them. All right, Ironman, final race of the year. Chase Sexton gets it done, 450 Pro Motocross champion. Dude, he looks like a different guy this year. We've kind of had this talk a little bit, Scotty. Mm-hmm. Does he really look different, or is it just because Jet's gone? To me, in these last couple rounds, he is a different guy. There is more confidence. At least it feels that way. And I think going into SMX, for me, he's the favorite. Not just because Jet's missed some races, but Chase is, in my opinion, on a different level. Is this just recency bias, though, that how I'm feeling this way?
Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think it's fair because those rides, the last couple of rides have looked really good, except for that one moto where he couldn't get past Hunter. I mean, he hasn't lost. That was one race.
Hunter was on it that day.
Yeah, exactly. Hunter had to be like his best self to do that. And other than that, he looks solid. It's just the question is will he still be able to do that when Jet's back? Like that's obviously the question.
And I'm saying I think so. Chase?
I think he's definitely a different rider, but we were judging him based on him switching to a new frame, figuring that bike out.
Yeah.
So like, he's definitely gotten better. And then I think Jet not being around definitely helped the confidence a little bit to kickstart that.
I do too.
I think he's definitely a different rider.
So do you think that confidence carries over? If Jet comes into SMX and wins by, 3 or 4 seconds, does that just crush Chase, or does Chase?
It's not going to help,
think so.
but I don't think it'll crush him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I also don't see Jet coming off that injury and being just that much better. He may be.
Yeah.
I may be wrong. We've seen him. I mean, he went perfect last year, so there's no telling. But
I'm stamping Chase as the SMX champion as well.
I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Scotty, any thoughts on SMX
I hate
coming
it.
up?
I hate it when you do stuff like that because you always it's like a curse almost. You had reason to think that Ferrandis was going to win the championship, and that didn't happen. And then like there's been some others.
Can't really compare Dylan Ferrandis and Chase. Well, maybe you can.
It's like Steve's dinner
Chase
curse.
Dylan was coming off a pretty dominant outdoor championship.
Yeah.
Well, if Chase has a rough SMX, Lewis will hate me and blame me probably. He's supposed to be listening, so
Lewis
sorry.
probably hates you anyways.
That may be. That may be. I don't know. But yeah, I think Chase has been amazing. And like I said, I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to Lewis's post-race interview with Chase from Ironman, but his personality, like his personality's coming out more. We'll give some credit to Lewis for that, because I know he wants credit for that, for their friendship. But I just see a different Chase, a happier Chase, a more, I don't know what the word is, like he's connecting with people, and he just seems happier at the track than he did
winning.
earlier.
Of course he
Yeah,
is.
Well,
winning,
but I do
everything's
think
better.
what Chase said is partly correct. Like he was struggling with that bike early in the season. I'm on the current frame of the KTM, and if he was having any of the issues that I'm having,
It's definitely different.
if
obviously
And
he's
he
a
was
better
also-
rider and can handle that better than I can. But if he's having that same issue,
If there's anything that we can compare, it's your and Chase's riding.
yes, thank you. I appreciate
Maybe
that.
this Chase, but not
Yeah.
that Chase.
No, that Chase for sure. Me and Chase, temporary KTM teammates, feeling the same thing. I have had some other riders that ride Austrian brands reach out and say, yep, feeling the same thing. Do this, do that. So
There's a YouTube comment that's kind of a good synopsis of what my thought is, as well as Chase always overrides when racing with Jet. And
could be part of it.
He wants to beat him so bad.
Yeah.
that
he
could
just, he will,
absolutely be part of it.
He's-
But okay, he was pretty freaking aggressive in these last few races where maybe he didn't have to be as aggressive as he was. So you could almost say he was still riding that way.
yeah, he could
little
let
bit.
anyone
Almost.
He
win.
rode that way against Eli. That's just how he rides.
Yeah.
He pushes the limits. And there was a couple of moments. Well, hell, we saw him tuck the front a couple times. He just still continues to win right now. So I think he's still riding the same way. I don't know if he was over. I would have said yes, he's overriding because of Jet a little bit. But now that I'm sitting here thinking about it more, maybe that's just how he rides.
yeah.
No matter who's in front of him.
I mean, he's
Or
so
behind him.
strong. He can
Yeah.
just bulldog the bike, and he trusts it so much that he just pushes past that line. So
What's your take on James Stewart coming out of the booth to go?
Oh, that was
cheer him
cool. That
on?
was funny.
Because we've heard, it seems like he's very hard on Chase.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of, tension between those guys. But when he wins the championship, he came out and like, all right, good job.
Do you think
like
that it was? I don't want to say this, but do you think
Well,
there
you
was
are.
any like sarcasm to that, or no?
No,
you just
I don't think
genuinely-
so at all. I
okay.
think he was stoked. I think, I think James definitely seems to be more critical of Chase, but when he's figuring it out, he's also at times getting him the credit.
What'd y'all think of the ghost ride?
My first thought was, I hope nobody lands on you, dude. Like I went to Jason Anderson
Well, he
in the
did it
XDM.
after the finish line jump.
I know, but easily, like somebody could come over that jump, that roller, whatever that was, where he ghost rode it, and just not be paying attention, and I'm plow right
I
in
mean,
the back
Chase
of him.
missed the white flag or the checkered
Yeah,
disc. That
could
could have
have
happened. Too.
So my first thought went to, oh shit, I hope he doesn't get hit. But other than that, yeah, it's fine. I don't care. You win the championship. Like I'm a little bit on board with, I don't need you to rev the bike for 45 minutes. It's just kind of, it's dumb after a little while. Not because I care about whether the bike lasts or not. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
was like
Especially when you're trying to do interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the interviews you could hear the bike through
Yeah.
the whole like yeah.
But for the most part, you win a championship.
You
Do
do
whatever
whatever you
whatever
want.
your celebration is. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, like instead of blowing that bike up, I'll take it.
Yeah,
There's lots of guys that
See,
would-
I guess I'm a cheap ass, and that's all I think of. Is like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like I
know
could
how
use
TJ
it.
feels about
I
it.
could use a bike.
Right.
Yeah.
That was good. A couple other things from Ironman. Tom Vial with the first overall. Really impressive. I'm glad he got one.
Me too.
Looked really good. I'm sure he's wishing he had rode that way all season. But yeah, 1-4 for first overall. Good ride from Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that last ride can translate into SMX? Like Joe Shimoda last year got his, I think, the first overall at Ironman also, and then rode really well at SMX.
I mean, I think it will, but like I said about Chase switching to that, like that's a new frame. Tom was on the old one last year. They've been going through that all year. That might be some of why he hasn't won up to this point, but
Yeah.
I think it'll carry over.
Got he?
Yeah. The first moto ride would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely, I want to ask Hayden about this. When him and Hayden were going at it, like as soon as that pass was made, I think he was just like done. Like, I don't know if he blew up, but he also, I believe, knew he had the overall, right? So he was,
yeah. I mean,
okay,
they know.
let it go. Let it go. Like,
the
when
last race
him
of
and
the
Hayden
year,
got into each other and he could have crashed, he was probably like,
I mean, he's had a couple wrecks where he was out front
Yeah.
and pushing it at the end, towards the end of a race and then threw it away. So he knew he had the overall. Why push
Right.
it? Why push it?
Yeah, I think, man, I'm getting much more excited about SMX than I was a week ago.
Me too.
So I'm ready.
Yeah.
I
a
think
good
it's
race
a week
this
off, so a 2-week
Yeah.
break, and let's go. I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen. Shifting gears for just a second, Ironman as a whole. So I'm watching this race, and I'm looking at all the passes and how good the track is, and all these different lines are working. And I'm like, okay, is this the new premier track? Most of the time, we say, what's your favorite track? It's either Millville or Redbud. I feel like Ironman's in the mix. As a fan watching, I'm going to put it second place. I like
Behind Millville.
Millville first. But I might be judging Millville because I've actually got to ride it, and I like Millville so much. But Ironman jumped this weekend to number 2 for me. Top tracks to watch pro motocross.
I'd say it jumped to 2, but I gotta go because I was there in 22 when Tomac and Chase were shooting on track. That's the fastest I've ever seen somebody ride a dirt bike in person. Like Millville will always have that spot in my heart, I guess. But if I could go see it and experience it in person,
Yeah.
I'm sure it would jump up there too.
Washougal. I'm just kidding.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
I do want to
No,
walk.
it's not 1 or 2. It's
God, I hope not.
yeah, I think so. It was weird. I kept finding myself really liking the little new wood section that they had,
Yeah.
even though it was kind of boring. It was just kind of straight and
Well, the
But
lap
it
time
got
was
choppy.
short last
It,
year.
Yeah.
it got like the off-road section does a little
yeah,
bit.
and I don't know. I don't know why, but I just really liked that section.
I did too.
And it made the track a little bit longer.
Yeah, because it was
and-
a short one last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it can be argued to be put in that top 2 or 3. Yeah, for sure.
What about the new start? Did you guys like it? I thought it was good because like last year they went right.
Yeah,
I guess
nobody
I-
likes a right hand
I
start.
didn't really notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes a right hand start.
Yeah, so I think the start was an improvement. It was pretty interesting. And we'll talk to Hayden about this too, where, Moto 1, he went all the way inside, Moto 2, all the way outside.
Yeah, I was
So-
wondering about some of the gate choices.
Yeah,
I guess
so
it's because it was a new
we
start.
can ask him and RJ.
Something about
They're-
the dirt on the outsides too, I think. Or was that last week?
Yeah.
outside where Hayden went second moto, they said there was it
was kinda
wasn't
packed down.
tilled as much,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll ask him about that. But yeah, I think Ironman is doing a great job over the last few years of just improving the facility and the track, and it has become one of the premier tracks for sure. Really, really happy for those guys.
My only thing about Iron Man is the section that has the bridge over it.
Yeah, the
They
covered
could,
bridge.
they could make that section different.
Why?
It seems like it
almost-
disrupts their flow so much.
Because they drop in that pocket.
And then
Yeah.
it's kind of sketchy with that little single roll. I mean, I'm sure
like it.
Yeah,
When AP was still out front, you
Yeah.
could barely see it right at the end when he's going under the bridge. He almost just
yeah.
launched off the track.
If they would just
It's-
take like one of those jumps out and make another one a little bit bigger, I
they're
think.
going so fast,
so
dropping.
you don't
into
want
that-
it so difficult and technical. You want to make it a little easier for the top riders in the world. Oh.
No, I want it to make it more flowy.
or
'Cause
or slow it down just a little bit,
if you
so you're
watch-
not dropping into that pocket going so fast.
If you watch
it
a
almost
whole lap,
8 AP at the beginning of it too.
right? If you watch the whole lap, it looks real flowy, and then when they get to there, it's like bing, boom. They're like,
that's cool. I think I don't know. You got Haiden
I don't
jumping
hate
farther.
it. I wouldn't want to ride it though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's good.
I guess I wouldn't be dropping into that pocket nearly as fast.
Exactly.
You
It would be
wouldn't
going
be-
so slow. It would be flowy.
We're not going to be doing quads. Yeah.
Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows. Yamaha Motor USA has a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is 50 years, now 51 years, of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZs pay tribute to a half century of championship winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com or go to your local dealership and check out Blue Crew. Great bikes. Love Blue Crew. Again, can't wait to get another one in my shop. Let's do the Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows real quick, and then we'll get into some more topics before we get to Haiden Deegan. So my highs were Sexton win the championship, stuff we already talked about. Tom Vial first overall, and us riding at Swan this weekend. I thought the track was great. You weren't as happy with it, Scotty.
No, I liked it. It
You didn't
got
like
good.
it in the morning.
Yeah.
But we can talk. We'll talk about that topic towards the end of the show a little bit. But those were my highs. Lows was Savachi out in Moto 1 again. And then the Sexton AP battle. I said, come on, give AP an
Let him
overall.
win, dude. Let him win.
Let him go. And then before I realized that Chase had stalled the bike, when they just kind of
Yo,
showed the AP
you
had
thought he
caught
was
him,
catching him?
I was like, oh, here we go.
Me too.
And then he just walked off and left him again.
Yep.
Man, yeah, I was bummed on that. So those are my highs and lows. Chase, you want to do your highs and lows?
Highs, RJ getting on the podium after coming back from injury.
Yep.
It's cool. I got to shoot some photos of a helicopter this weekend at the track, which was also really cool.
Very nice.
Then Vial.
Stay on
you
mic.
already- Oh, yep.
You're good.
Vial, you already mentioned that though. And then lows, Kenny coming back. I know he's coming back from an injury, being on a 250. I thought he'd be a little closer.
I did too.
But
yeah.
like I said, he's coming back from injury. And then Marchbanks with, I don't know if he finished the first one. I know it was like 32nd, but
No, I think he did.
Did he? Okay.
I think
well,
so.
He didn't even start the second one. Him coming to that team, it was a cool story.
Right.
Wanted to see him do good last round, but he'll be all right.
We got to figure it out. Scotty?
Highs we're getting to ride this weekend.
Oh, it's in the future. We can't talk about it in the future.
No, I was talking about we rode this weekend.
Damn.
Yeah, shut up.
All right,
man.
let me play this for myself.
Acting like an idiot. You're the idiot. Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Somebody has to be.
I switched the camera back to you so they knew that you were being an idiot.
That was for me.
Yeah, the highs were getting to ride, and that there was some stories like Roxon riding 250F. That was cool to see. The track was good. Tomac showed some Tomacness.
Yeah.
Those are going to be some of my highs. And dude, I'm not negative, man. No lows. We're good.
No lows.
No,
All right.
actually, I'll give you a low. It was super hot. Like I'm just.
It wasn't as bad as last weekend though.
I'm tired. I'm tired of. I'm tired of almost dying when I ride because it's just so hot and
Felt so good.
and I'm so out of shape.
So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
He says that I was sitting next to him, dude.
it was
he
hot.
He went over to the cooler and was like, "Oh, like, dude, like yeah."
It was hot, but it feels good when you're like out there.
Oh,
and you're
I
like,
know.
Yeah,
I
dude,
mean, like, it
I
feels
put
like
the
you
cold
accomplished
rag on
something.
me, and I drank
yeah.
12 bottles of water. It was hot, but like in the end, like
No,
I was,
it's, yeah.
yeah, it feels good. Let's do a couple listener highs and lows. Dwayne says, "Hi guys, love the show and the banter, and wish the show was a little longer to help get me through my workday." I hear you, Dwayne. TJ won't let us do it any longer. He's just complaining.
Everything is TJ's fault.
Yeah,
That's not the truth.
Yeah, it
it
is.
says you. All right. He said
It's his truth.
He's got some. I guess these are highs. Oh, these are 5 goals. So let's come back to Dwayne. We got top 5 bullies. Shane Bagley. Here we go. Highs and lows from Shane Bagley. Went to Ironman and my wife enjoyed it. She was sitting next to Mark Finnis, grandma and grandpa, and great grandma. Sorry, in the super ticket area, chatting with them. Another high was Ironman is such a great time, Elite National, and I can't wait till MXDN comes there next year. Ooh, yeah. His low got COVID. Don't know if it was at Ironman Saturday or Green Day concert Thursday, but it sounds like you're a super spreader there, Shane. Let's go get COVID and go to Green Day and the race.
Yeah,
Great. Now the whole, but yes, positive day. A couple days at home from work to rest me up. So that's from Shane. The Vince Pale highs. Chase winning the 450 MX championship. Really epic seeing him go 1-1. Seeing little James Stewart out on the broadcast booth. Riding pit bikes with AMA Nation Pro ATV racer Nick Janusa at Facility 15 Sunday with a bunch of area pit bike guys. No lows from Vince.
I like him. I like it. Stay positive.
Let's see here. So and then Faith sent in highs. Haiden winning the championship. Low AMA or MX Sports changing the landing of the Danger double right by the finish. Yeah,
they did do that. Yeah,
they did. I'm going to ask Haiden about that if we can get to it. But so changing that so no one else can do it. Haiden was the only one this time. High, Tom winning. I expect him to be the one taking home the championship or at least winning most of the races given his past experience. Low, new semester started and it's still hot in SoCal. High, Mom ordered me a Deegan championship shirt for my birthday. I only have one Deegan shirt and that was from Amateurs. So that's from Faye. Thanks to all our listeners for getting in. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com if you want to get involved with the different segments. Also, go to VitalMX.com and you can sign up for the Vital MX Fantasy League. There is a MotoXpod Show league within the game. Got about 10 more minutes before we get to Haiden Deegan. I want to get your guys' biggest positives and negatives from the outdoor season. Okay, so I'm going to go with right now, just after this weekend, Ironman. I feel like it might have been the best race of the year. Like maybe recency bias, but it just really, really stood out watching that Sunday or Saturday. So
that was a better performance than him coming from 40th to first?
Not like I'm talking as a whole.
Oh, the whole race.
Yeah,
I think you're talking about his race.
No, just as a whole, the Ironman race was fantastic. I also want to mention just Hymas, 4th overall in points, 8 top 5s and 4 podiums. Really a great ride, a great season for the rookie.
Some moto wins.
Yeah, he got his first win, overall. So stoked on Hymas. The kid's gonna have a great future. And then disappointment, Justin Cooper got 4th in points, but Jay Coop's one of my favorite guys. I was really excited about him moving up. When Jet went out, and again, I love AP too, but I just thought Jay Coop would get 3rd. But I think he got 2 podiums and he ended up being 32 points down behind AP. So it wasn't really as close as I think it could have been. But he had some
AP really turned it on in the last part of the season.
And Justin had, that crash last weekend, right? And a couple other crashes and some bad starts. So yeah, not really like I'm saying he rode negatively. I'm just bummed that he didn't do a little better.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. I was hoping for a little more out of him. Scotty, you got your positive and negative from the year?
Positive was that it wasn't a Jet domination year, and the negative was Jet wasn't there.
Okay.
No, I'm just that was just a joke.
That was a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Over my head. Sorry, I'm lining Deegan up.
I'm going to say I guess it's not really like a biggest surprise, but one of the things that I like to see was AP getting 3rd in the points.
Yeah.
He's really come around, and he looked really good at the end of the season. It was cool. I guess going into the outdoor season, I didn't expect Chase to win the championship. I mean, obviously he won it because of certain circumstances, but
he would have won it anyway.
He was close.
Me and Lewis are believers.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. It was a close championship. You used to say that he couldn't have, but those are mine.
Highs, I would say like Supercross and outdoors coming together, so the coverage of the race has gotten so much better. I remember when we were on MAV, it was god awful that year. Lows, or actually highs. Jeez, I just lost it.
You blanking?
Yeah. Lows.
Come on, Chase.
Lows.
Get it together.
Savachi. I thought he would do a little better, but I understand it's a new bike.
Most of it
wasn't on him.
Sure.
But I wanted him to do better.
Yeah, I want Triumph to do well as a whole. Like Jalik Swoll, another guy I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I was going to say sidebars. Jalik had a pretty good year.
I think he did. Yeah,
he didn't get worse moving to the new bike, and they had some problems. So
if anything, he got a little better.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
like he's gotten a little bit better, and switching to a new bike, new team, new everything. It's a positive for sure.
Absolutely. A couple of other quick topics before we get Haiden on. We talked about Roxon 912 for 9th. Chase, you made a comment about it, but I think we all thought, or at least hoped he would do a little better. I thought top 5, 6. But when you look at it, like he rode really well the first moto and then maybe just got winded a little bit. We don't really know. But, just didn't have the ride we hoped for, Scotty. But at the same time, he hasn't been on 250 in years, so you kind of. I really wasn't taking that in consideration. I was just like, he's Ken Roxon. Who cares?
When I watched the first moto, I was like, oh, okay.
Like, yeah. I was like, spicy for a little bit.
Yeah, he was, and then that I don't think that like that same thing would have happened to him in the 450 class. He just doesn't have the conditioning right now because he's been, hurt. He hasn't been able to walk for a couple months, and so
I wonder if he would have been a little better on the 450 because it's not as much work.
Yeah, I mean, if he was in better health, then I wouldn't have been surprised for him to podium the 250.
Yeah,
class.
that injury was pretty gnarly too.
Oh, for sure.
He passed into third at one point. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. I didn't think at that point. I really didn't think that he was going to fall back to ninth. Like
that was better than I expected him to do. But I mean,
ninth was better.
No. When he passed into third, he was. I didn't expect him to be.
Yeah, I didn't expect a podium.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was there for a minute.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, man. And I think he had a good time for the most part. So that's really what it was about.
Faith said the last time Kenny was on a 250, Haiden was 7.
Yeah, they said that on the broadcast. Yep.
Yeah.
But Hayden's only like 12, right? So
Yeah,
I feel like he's a little kid still. So, no Daxton Bennett. That was kind of a bit of a bummer, surprise. Don't really completely know what's going on. I was texting with him. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. I did hear, I think it was Lewis on the post-race show was talking about it, that they kind of basically said there were some goals he had to hit in qualifying and he didn't, and they benched him.
I think he tweeted about it too. I was going to say
so
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think they benched him.
I texted Dax, and he can't really say a lot. So he's being positive. He's like, hey, I know I got more in me. I'll get this figured out. So hopefully, Dax.
He's got another year there, right?
Yeah, I think
so.
but this kind of thing could get to you mentally.
Oh, for sure.
So
it can snowball.
I hope it doesn't bring him down.
It's hard to turn momentum one way or the other.
Is this going to be a thing now? We saw like with Shane and Daxton. Like, are we going to start benching riders now? Is that like?
Well, I mean,
I don't see.
Star's done it before. They've done it a couple times.
Right in the
Anderson got
for the last round.
Anderson got benched.
Anderson got benched. Yeah,
other
riders have been benched.
It just seems like recency. Yeah.
Shane,
We're
how about
big
this
on
one?
recency bias on
There's
this
two
show,
things I
apparently.
want to get to. Let's do AP. Let's get back on AP for a minute. Third overall is very impressive. Don't care that Jet's out. He rode great. He was at a lot of motos fighting for wins.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very close to some overalls. If Chase just hadn't effed his teammate over, but no,
he kept Chase honest. He was really one of the few times that it was either him or Hunter. I mean, nobody else was keeping Chase honest.
But do you, top of your head, where did AP finish last year?
Third.
Yeah, I was going to say third or fourth, right?
So third, 2 years in a row. Here's the difference. In 23, 10 top fives. This year, 8 top fives. I would have said more this season because I felt like he was riding better. But podiums, he doubled his podiums this season. Kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
He was
So 6
super
podiums
consistent
versus
with
3
starts.
podiums.
Did he have he had less top fives?
No, he had more.
Less top fives this year, but more podiums.
That's
When
weird.
he was in the top 5, they were podiums.
That's
When
weird.
he was outside, when they weren't top 5s, he was outside.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's an improvement or not, but I feel as though he was riding better this season, and he's coming into his own.
What races did he have? Did he have like just some bad races? I guess
This season?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want, I'll have to go pull up the results.
No,
I don't have
I
them in
just
front of
trying
me.
to-
But yeah,
I don't
doesn't
think they
make
were
sense.
that bad. I think he had like
Yeah.
a couple 7s or 8s, something like that.
yeah, just weird. Here, I got it. I got it right here.
Oh, I remember that high. It was Phil doing well in his last season.
yeah, and the low. I thought about adding the low that he's gone. Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
it
for
the
sure.
last season. I don't want Phil to be gone. I want Phil to stick
I
around.
think he'll be around still.
I mean, he might be hanging out, but
For
he's not
sure.
going to be out there racing.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
for sure.
Complaining but the other positive of that bit might be that maybe he won't do pulp every Monday, so somebody else could interview him for once.
That would be cool.
I'd like to have Phil on my show, Steve.
Yeah.
we've had him.
It's
on.
been a while because he's on pulp
Yeah.
every single week. So
Tell us how you
did
really
you find
feel.
his results or what?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, so
Southwick he went 12-4. That was a bad one.
yeah,
And then Fox he went 3-12. Thunder Valley went 5-8. All of that. Other than that, it was like 4-2, 3-5, 2-3, 3-4, 3-3, 2-2. Like
He was super consistent. He had
I guess
really
he just
good
had
starts.
some. I guess he just
all
had some
season too.
a couple of just off motos.
well, okay. So does this also? How does that translate into SMX for AP? Either one of you?
I think he was.
Where
never,
does he finish?
Yeah,
in
what
SMX?
would be a surprise? Second?
I mean, yeah.
'Cause I don't think- I wouldn't
I
be
don't
that
think he'll
sup-
get third.
I wouldn't be
in
that surprised
SMX.
if he got third.
Think it'll-
So we're gonna have Chase, Hunter, Jet, and SMX, and you feel like a third is realistic?
I think the AP could have the third from Hunter.
Yeah, I do too. I think we don't know how the 25 Honda is going to perform indoors, and I don't know how much testing they're doing, and AP's on his game right now. So I do think that's going to be our third place battle. But I believe we had the first guest of the night on the phone. So let's get to him. He's going to be brought to you tonight by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by Muck-Off, FXR, Club MX, Yamaha, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, and many more. FXR has core motor roots, so visit fxrracing.com and check out the new line of gear. Right now, FXR brings us from Yamaha Star Racing, Haiden Deegan. What's up, Deegan?
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Has it set in?
I'm good. I'm just chilling.
Has it set in?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, it's set in, but we still got to work. We got another one coming up.
Yeah, and I want to get to SMX in a minute, but let's talk about this. Let's just talk about Ironman real quick, or the series as a whole. This season could have gone very differently when you take in the crash at Hangtown. I think it was Redbud where you landed on the guy that was down.
Yep.
The first turn at Millville. Like, there was, as well as you rode, there was a little bit of luck that you didn't get hurt in some of these injuries, and it just, like, this season was just your season.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I got slammed hard a few times, and I mean, another thing is I'm a tough kid. I definitely preach that I don't give up a lot, and when I get slammed like that, it hurts. Trust me, it hurts, but I really don't give up. Like, it really would take a lot. Like, I'd have to have a bone sticking out for me to give up, Like, I feel like if nothing's broken, the first thing I do is get up, and if everything's fine, I'm running to my bike. I don't care what's going on. I'm getting back to the bike, and I mean, that's just kind of been my mentality ever since I was a kid. My dad, I remember one time I crashed and I laid there, and I remember that was like the last time I ever did that because it was on 50s and my dad just lit me up, and I was like, I will never lay there again. I don't care if whatever happens. I got to get up and get back to my bike, and I feel like that's definitely a good habit I have in me.
Yeah, the one at Hangtown was extremely surprising because I just like the way your body helicoptered and the way you landed. I mean, I damn sure wouldn't have got up from that. So very impressive. And I do think those type of rides or getting back up, kind of when you have your haters, the ones that don't like what maybe the things you say or whatever, they have to respect the fact that at least you work your ass off and you have the drive.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think they realize the way if they were to get slammed like that, I doubt anyone talking to get up as quick as I do. So I think that kind of lets them know too how bad I want it, and I think they have to respect it.
For sure.
Yeah, Hayden, when we've known that you've got this, tough send it attitude, and that's what is so polarizing with you and what we love watching. When you get into the last couple of rounds of the championship, it seemed that you were being a little more responsible with the motos, not trying to maybe take as many chances because the championship was on the line. How hard is it for you to adjust to that, switching off I'm just going to send it, and then try to managing a championship? This was the first time you've really had to do that. How was that transition?
Yeah, it's definitely a learning subject. I've never done it before, like had a championship lead like that. So it was definitely, I'd be going to races and I was just, honestly, I'd get out there and just ride smooth, try not to make mistakes like I did at the beginning of the season. Like you guys seen, I believe, Hangtown with my crash there. And then obviously Redbud was out of my control. So I feel like if that didn't happen, it would have been a little more consistent. But I got to a point where I had such a big lead that I was just like at the races, just executing what I know how to do and not take any chances. And then that's why, I feel like this last round, I didn't have anything to lose. So I think you guys kind of see me ride a little harder. Getting into it with Tom and just how I could ride like that if I need to, like what I'm trying to say. And at the championship, I didn't need to do that all season because I had such a big lead.
Right. So Bobby has like a reputation of being hard on guys, and I kind of get the feeling that nobody's harder on you than yourself. Does Bobby have to light a fire? Yeah, true. Does like Bobby have to light a fire under you ever? Is it just you got it?
Yeah, you could tell me one thing before I go out to the race and it could change the whole race for me. You could motivate me so hard where I'm just like, damn, like maybe it'll flip a switch in me where I'm like, all right, let's get it. I can control that myself, but if someone, Bobby knows how to do it. He was a light of fire under me and I'm like, all right, now I got to go prove these people wrong. Or even like my mom calling after my first moto this weekend, and she was not happy. She was not happy at all. And that just, I mean, that kind of motivates me and like lights a switch in me where I'm like, all right, well, I got to go do it right now. I can't be messing around. And even though I got the championship, I still have to perform at the top level. So that's what I ended up doing the second moto.
Ironman as a whole. Well, let's talk about, you just mentioned the rubbing elbows with Tom Vial in Moto 2. And he kind of backed off after that. I think he knew he had the overall lined up probably, but like that wasn't necessary for you. You didn't have to go out and win that race because you already won the championship. But I think you just love racing like that. Like to me, that wasn't being dirty or anything. That it was just aggressive racing because that's what this sport is.
Yeah, 100%. That was, I mean, it wasn't like we weren't like crossed up at each other in the air. Yeah. Only time we were crossing each other up was on, out of turns and stuff, which is completely fine. That's racing, and every form of racing is like that. I mean, you watch NASCAR and stuff, people are cutting each other off everywhere. I mean, that's just racing. That's just what you do, and there's no reason to be upset about that. It's honestly kind of fun going back and forth like that, especially when you're especially when you're at the upper foot, when you're a little bit faster and you're in second, you can kind of weave your way around, it was pretty sick. Yeah,
it was exciting to watch, and of course some people aren't going to like it because that's just the way it is. But I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It was just good racing. And Ironman this year, I was talking to these guys before we called you. The track as a whole, to me, has moved up into the top 2 of my favorite tracks to watch racing on. Everybody always talks about Redbud versus Millville, 2 best tracks in the country. I feel like Ironman's in that talk now. I for me as a viewer, it's second behind Millville. How do you feel about the track as a whole?
Yeah, 100%. This year, but the track changes, it actually made it a lot better, a lot better racing wise. I mean, there's those split lanes for passing. The tree section was a little hard to see, so you couldn't really do much back there, but it is one of the better tracks. It's one of my favorites. I do like Fox. It's weird. My favorite's like Fox Raceway though right now. I love that place because that's like a home track, and when they prep it for the Pro National, it's nothing like what anyone would go ride during the week. So it's a little different.
That surprises me a little bit, Haiden, but we'll give it to you. We'll let you have Fox if that's what you want. What about the start choices? Moto 1 versus Moto 2. Moto 1 all the way inside, Moto 2 all the way outside. You pulled a wheelie all the way down the start stretch, it looked like. But talk about your choices for starting positions.
Yeah, well, first start, they flooded it pretty hard in the middle of those gates, and I actually think I would have pulled the whole shot. I mean, Tom pulled the whole shot right next to me, but I didn't execute my start correctly, so I ended up wheeling, and that's where I lost it. And then second moto, obviously, I didn't have a great first moto finish. Fell on the first lap as well, and then I was all the way out. I was like, I seen Smitter or whatever, and I think it was Phil. It might have been Phil. I don't know. They started on the very outside, and I was like, I'm just going to go up there. I want to say it's last moto of the year. I threw a brand new bike, so I had to go back. I went back to my super soft setup that I ran at the beginning of the year. I'm like, we're kind of throwing a Hail Mary at this, and we're going to try and win the last moto strong. So we're like, we're going to go out here to the outside and see what happens. And I just left it on, wheelied all the way. It was kind of sick. I felt the wheelie all the way to the first turn, and it was kind of, I didn't expect Cody Shock on my inside to actually pull a whole shot on me, and I was like, damn. But we ended up coming out, he came out like second, I came out like fifth, and then I ended up getting into fourth pretty quick, and then made those passes.
Haiden, we had your mechanic on a couple weeks ago, and I heard him on another interview. And first of all, he not only is he awesome, but you can tell that he really enjoys working with you and working with your family. And one of the things that I heard him mention was that your dad will occasionally get on your bike and ride and kind of figure out what's going on with the setup, like just so he knows what's going on. And like, it's so cool that he has the ability to be able to do that still and have that feedback, and just kind of talk about how you respect that opinion and how that whole thing works as part of your team.
Yeah, I understand. My dad does like hop on my bike sometimes. He's there at the track with me every day. He's studying the way I ride, studying the stuff we try. So I definitely take his input in and try the things he offers advice-wise. And he's smart. He knows what he's talking about. He's won championships in his own form, not necessarily dirt bikes, but other ways and stuff. So he is intelligent with that. And, I mean, it's all great advice. So we're definitely a good duo at the track.
So I've seen comments online about people like it's obviously
People talk about Haiden.
It's obviously smelling salts on the line, but like I've seen people speculate about it. Like, what brand smelling salts are you using?
I don't know. It's they are smelling salts. I'm not exactly sure what they're called.
I got you.
I just use it on the line. It's kind of nice. Gets me awake.
Yeah.
Is it just alert, or it's like I've never done smelling
People use them
salts.
for lifting. It's like it's like getting kicked in the face.
Oh, you can't really trust Duff. You don't really know what you could be kidding you anything.
No,
man.
and yeah, that stuff it hits pretty hard. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
it burns.
Yeah.
They had the camera on you this weekend. I think Moto 2 when you were taking them. And yeah, your reaction was not pleasant.
Yeah, it's not fun doing it. But it works.
Is that the thing now? A nut grab and a smelling salt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Last thing with Ironman that I have is the covered bridge section that you were jumping farther than everybody. Pretty damn cool. And then they changed like the finish line. We'll call it the Deegan double from last year. They changed that. What do you think about them changing that? Because that was really a cool option, but then also it took a lot of the risk out that you didn't have to do the double, but then just the covered bridge section. It's a couple of really cool sections that last year you were ripping and doing again this year.
Yeah, 100%. They took out. I was gonna call that the dangerous double, but they ended up taking it out. I don't know why they took it out. I think a few of the 450 guys were complaining because I honestly don't know why. I'm like, it's a jump. You guys know how to ride a dirt bike.
You don't have to hit it.
If you want to hit it, don't hit it. You have the balls to hit it, then hit it. There's the other 250 guys hitting it, so I don't know why they took it out, but it's kind of unfortunate. And I just had a foundation jump though, so I found one on the other side of the track wide open.
Yeah, that was it. It was cool though. It was cool to watch. Yeah. All right, Hayden, here's the big topic of the week. Not sure what you can talk about. Obviously, MXDN's the hot topic. I think you had to let the AMA know by today. What can you tell us? We've heard lots of rumors. Oh, he's only going if Eli's going, or he may be having surgery. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's definitely been a big subject, and actually it's still in the talks because it is most up to the team. That's kind of what it kind of comes down to, and also it's up to the team for me too because I do have to get screws taken out of my wrist. Yep. And that's kind of up to the team. They want me to get prepared pre-season for upcoming Supercross because the goal is to go win that. So it's honestly really last minute, and we're trying to figure it out because the team, wants me to get obviously for myself too. I want to get my wrist healed up correctly so I can have a good preseason. So it's no answer yet.
Okay, all right. I had heard that you might have to get pins out, but you weren't sure. But are the pins definitely coming out, or do you know that yet?
Yeah, I did. I talked to a doctor, and that's what they recommended as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's not nothing that's gonna ever bother me later down the road, but it's smart to get it taken out while you have the chance. So
okay.
Recommended to get it taken out, but it's still. I obviously want to go race for my country and go race over with all the other GP guys. I think that would be so sick. So it's definitely, we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because there are people out there, and I don't know how much you actually pay attention to the comments online, but there's got, he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to, F Hayden because he doesn't want to go support his country, and they just don't. People don't always accept that there are other factors at play.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot more behind it. I just wouldn't want to go race over there or something. I genuinely want to race over there. I genuinely think this year I am the fastest 250 guy, so I want to go race the fastest 250 guys over there, 100%. But there's a lot more to it with my body, with the team, so there's still things that go on behind the scenes, but I definitely would want to race over there.
If you decide that you can't, or the team decides that they don't want to go and you don't go, who would be your choice to fill that spot? Because I feel like Hymus is probably the number one pick behind you. I know you guys have your whatever you want to call it, but I believe at the end of the day, you respect Hymus as far as his ability. Yeah. And then RJ is looking really good, but he's coming off an injury. So who would be your pick to take that spot?
Yeah, it's hard because there's been guys on and off all season. Obviously, Chance is riding really well. You can't deny it, and that would obviously be a great pick too because he has really good starts. And then you go to Levi. Levi won 3 rounds in a row or whatever. Yeah. He's been running up front, but sometimes his starts are off, sometimes his starts are good. So it's honestly, it's kind of a gamble between a couple guys. So that's kind of, I guess AMA or whoever decides that
Sure.
is definitely going to have to look into some stats to find the most. I mean, they're going to want to find a guy with good starts and that's pretty consistent.
I agree. Haiden Deegan tonight, brought to you by FXR.
Yeah, Haiden, obviously this championship was a big moment for you. We had the SMX championship last year, and you're going to defend that this year. What was the relief like that? I mean, obviously this is the one step of many that you want to accomplish, but what was like that, okay, I finally have made this and I can start looking forward towards the future. How was that realization when you finally got the championship?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I won that SMX championship, and it was against, I mean, the 250 class, it was everybody, besides Hunter, he ended up crashing, but still against, I mean, rookie season against all the best dudes in the 250 class, so that was huge for me, but I mean, people still were like, it's only a 3-race championship. So I was like, that kind of, I mean, obviously it's another championship and it's still a lot of money, but I was like, I do need to go win one of the OG championships. Like, I still need to win a Supercross or a Pro Motocross title. I ended up getting hurt for the Supercross, so I tried my best in that. And we did get better towards the end of the season, a couple wins and stuff. But I was like, I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to win this outdoor title. Like, I don't care what anyone says or what, you know, what's going on in my head. I'm going to win this outdoor title. Because it is, I think, most physically demanding and one of the hardest titles to win. So I was like, if I can win this, this is like the legit freaking Pro Motocross championship that is very difficult for anybody to win. So I was like, I got to check this one off.
Yeah, I agree. I think it shows in your writing that you felt that way, that you wanted to show everybody that, and it definitely was noticed. And to me, it was like, okay, this is the Haiden Deegan that I've been expecting to see and wanting to see. And it was definitely obvious that you had that determination this season. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I just think people had high expectations too. I was like, it's rare for a rookie to come in general at 17 and be winning races and then win an SMX championship. And I think people overlook like how young I was. And like when I won that championship, I literally just raced the 250B class like a year and a half ago. So it was like, I was like, it's kind of like I was racing Loretta Lynn's like just a little bit ago. Like I could be at Loretta's this year, and I just won my first pro championship. And I think a lot of people overlook the work I've put in and the team and my family and just how young I did it. Like you can look at Jet and stuff, but it's hard to compare because I mean we both did it at a very young age.
True.
So I'm hearing like rumors kind of you're thinking about doing kind of what Reed did back in the day and doing your own team. I was just curious, like, what are you looking like coming up, moving up to 450?
Still a little ways away, but yeah,
right.
Sure, there's plans. Yeah.
Curious about the plans.
Yeah, I did see that. I seen that someone posted that, and I was like, I'd never even talked about it. I'm not even sure what that is. Like honestly, I was literally made up, and it's kind of crazy. Some things get made up, and people run with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like that is like sometimes I even myself like I want to make something up and see if people run with it, but it's like that's not true. Like I'm contracted with Star, and I don't plan on going anywhere else as of now. That's where I'm at. This team's really good. I think they got the best bike, and everyone supports me here. So this is where I'm at.
Since you just sort of jokingly touched on that, making things up or just things that get online, we talked about this. You are like a lot like Chad Reed, a polarizing rider where fans either love or hate. There is almost no in between. And, we talked about this in the last time you were on. Some of the things you say rubs people the wrong way. And then some of it I feel like is sort of just to mess with the other riders. So how much of that do you even think about? Like do you even think about the things you say and how your fans or your, what's the opposite of fans? Haters, what the haters are going to say. Do you even take that into consideration when you go up on the podium and say something?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, the fans and stuff, like I enjoy the support and everything, but if people, don't like me, I look past that. Like, a lot of those people, talking on the internet and stuff, if they had their goals set where I want to go and the things I want to achieve, they wouldn't have time to talk crap on me. But racing wise, I mean, when I get into it, like with other riders, or I say these one-liners, like I truly do think it works. And I say it personally, that's just out of my racecraft. Like when I'm in race mode, that's what's coming out of that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
I mean, shoot, when I'm freaking saying those things, it is just random coming out of
He's
my
talking shit like we do at the track.
Yeah. It's a little
but
bit.
I don't think it doesn't. Like when people say like he's just making a fool of himself, like I genuinely don't think that, because I genuinely I say something and I see these dudes, they do end up the next week or 2 weeks later cracking under pressure a little bit. So that's when it plays into my head like, it does work. You know, the 70-point lead when I won the championship, I think some of those mind games do work.
I agree. And I've kind of defended you, and I don't know you that well, but I have talked to you a number of times through the years, and I'm always like, yeah, Hayden's super respectful off the bike, right? He's a really cool kid. He's really nice. And then, you know, our buddy, I'm really good friends with Mathis. I don't know how you feel about Steve, but Steve has been like, you know, it's a little WWE. It's like, oh, what's up, brother? You know, it's sort of, it's like in wrestling, they call it a promo when you go and you try to get in the other guy's head or whatever. And I do feel like, yeah, it's a little bit of an act, but it's worked. I mean, look at Cooper Webb. Cooper's a pretty chill, humble guy most of the time, but on the track, he's ruthless and he will talk shit. And like, you know, back in the day when McGrath lined up, everybody knew they were beat not because he talked, but it was just his aura. And yeah, I think that stuff does work. I totally agree with you. Speaking of that though, it will create enemies to a degree. You will have guys that don't like it that you're racing with. And I think in the 450 class, that's a little more frowned upon. There's a lot more respect. How do you feel about that transition? Do you feel like when you go 450, maybe that'll change? Or, I mean, I know you don't really know, but just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see it in the 450 class, like when Jet and Anderson got into it, like how more of like the racers actually took it. Like Anderson was Anderson's always now messing with the Lawrence brothers. So
that's true.
I think the way I see it is, I'm still young. I'm in a class where everybody, we're all going at it. We're all cutting each other off. We all kind of, I feel like when you get to the 450 class, everyone's a lot more respected of each other. You know what I mean? Like no one's on the start. No one's, besides this weekend, I've seen someone crash, but like no one's sending it into each other. No one's really, cross jumping each other in the 450 class. Like when the 450 class, when you get up to someone to pass them, it's not like a freaking huge ordeal. Like, most of those guys, when they get past, they don't really like put up a fight. So it's like, I feel like in the 450 class, it's more like laid back, and I feel like they just respect each other more because they're all, the freaking top 10 is all lights champions. So I believe when I do get to the 450 class in that age, I'll definitely be more mature of a person in general, but I think I'm just racing veterans. I'll have a lot more respect for those guys. Yeah,
I think it is a little bit of maturity and time, and it comes with that. So nothing wrong with that. I think I've told you before, like I'm not the guy, like Daniel Blair loves the drama. I don't like the drama. I'm not that kind of guy. So I'm hoping 10 years, 15 years from now, like you and Hymus are sitting around and like joking about these days, just like Stu and Reed and Carmichael are now. And, they hate each other back in the day. All right. We're not racing anymore. We actually do like each other, so 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it'll probably all change.
Yeah, I do believe that too. It's racecraft. When you're racing for championships and wins, your mind thinks a whole lot different than your, day-to-day base. At least for me. So I do believe that's definitely how it'll be.
Yeah. Just a few more questions for you and we'll let you go, Hayden.
Yeah, Hayden, we've talked in the past when we had you on before about training with a couple of the other guys like Tomac and Roxon, and I mentioned earlier that you had to have that mature, just kind of get the championship done kind of thing. It's had to have rubbed off on you riding with those guys. Is that maturity some of what you learned from them?
Yeah, I definitely do. It's kind of hard though because I do train with a lot of guys, and then I train with like Webb too, which he's like pretty feisty. So you get a bunch of different personalities, and my goal is to just take bits and pieces from all of them. But again, I'm my own person too, and I want to achieve my own things. So it's just trying to apply those in the right way.
Yeah, that's life. It's just taking and learning a little bit from this, that, and the other, adding your own flair to it and doing it. So that's awesome, man. Good to hear.
So I heard you say that you bought a Audi R8 on the podium. You got any more? You got any other plans for the rest of that bonus, or is that the big one?
And we actually have a listener question. Did your mom give the keys back?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I knew my mom was gonna be mad, and I knew if I got back and I rode how I did in the first moto and the second moto, she'd probably be asking for my keys, even though I bought it. But she still my mom will have to listen. But honestly, I'm big into mean, my parents have taught me to buy real estate and like rental property. So that's where the money goes. I don't plan on spending it on any more cars, but I do have to treat myself here and there.
Right.
And then besides that, though, I mean, I bought a beach condo. I rent that out. And then I also I'm looking at some places in some different states to buy some more rentals.
It's cool. Your pop's a smart man. I'm glad to see he's leading you down the right path.
Yeah. Hey, now you mentioned your mom a couple of times like that. Is your mom more hardcore when it comes to that stuff than your dad is about like getting on to you and like calling you out and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that's why I'm the way I am now. I mean, my mom didn't raise me like how most moms like raise their kids, where the kid can run to the mom because the dad's being mean. I feel like I would run for my dad and I'd run straight into a wall at my mom, the same thing. So it was just like that just raised me to a tough kid, and that's where I kind of get that grit from. I mean, you see it in those crashes too. I don't care to like lay there like I'm dead or whatever. I want to get back and get going because I have that grit in me, and that's just how I was raised as a little kid. My mom would see me eat it on my BMX bike or eat it on my dirt bike when I was on a 50 or whatever, and she wasn't running over there. She was letting me get up and be a tough kid, and that's where I think I get it from now.
That's awesome.
All right, I got two more for you. Speaking of training and Star, how beneficial do you feel it is that they allow you a little bit of freedom to go to other places? We've seen you go to Eli's, you rode Kenny, and then on top of the training and working with people, knowing that Christian, it sounds like Christian's coming back to the team next year and will be there to help out a little bit. Talk about that team dynamic with those situations.
Yeah, definitely having everyone. I mean, yeah, definitely all those guys and stuff I train with. I feel like Star's just like, I mean, it's definitely the biggest team there is. So it's picking and choosing, like, in the training wise, you gotta, obviously I want to work on my own stuff for me here and there. So, going out to train with Tomac or going down to Claremont and train with those guys, Star's been really open to do that. And I definitely think it would be different though if I was going out and not performing, but the way, I mean, I've been doing it and performing well, I think that they are fine with that because it works. And that's what I did growing up too. I never was stuck at one place or, California, you had 5 different tracks to go ride. We were always moving around, go to different states to ride. And I feel like you got to go to your roots sometimes if you want to be great. So I feel like jumping around tracks, training with other people, I think that's key for me at least. I mean, other people that doesn't work quite as good. I'm just like that though, and that's how I was raised. So that's kind of the key roots.
Okay, my last question. This is when Lewis Phillips, who works with me at Vital, and I were talking, and we're just talking about how do you feel about media as a whole? Do you mind doing media? Do you like doing some media? How many dumb questions do we ask? What are your overall thoughts on what we do?
Yeah, I enjoy the media. It's cool. I mean, I think I've brought a lot to the sport media-wise. My dad has too, and I think it's the media likes to flip some narratives and stuff, but again, it's all just more publicity and promotion. And the way I look at it is when I say those things on the podium as well, it's giving the media some more stuff to post. And I mean, it's all just views, analytics, and more people bringing to the sport. So I think it's fun.
That's smart, man. I was going to ask you who your favorite media person is, but I mean, I know it's us in this show, so we'll just skip over that. We've been talking to you for a long time, and I do want to say thank you. You almost always say yes to us. I try not to ask you too much, but I do appreciate it. It means a lot. I know you spend a lot of time dealing with media and whatnot, so I appreciate it. Anything to close out from either of you two?
Good job on the championship. Let's see some more, man. That was awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
congratulations, man.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks back at SMX, and again, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right, see you. All right, Haiden Deegan tonight, brought to you by FXR. Good times. You said we had some good viewers, huh?
Yeah, we just broke 1,000.
Yeah, I want to apologize. We didn't get to very many Vital questions or YouTube chat questions, but we did have a lot of stuff we wanted to touch on, and
it's okay. All of my questions got a good question on it, so we're good. Good.
Well, I had told him 20 minutes. We did 30. So I really appreciate him doing that.
Yeah, that's one of the longer ones I've seen him do, I think.
What's funny is my biggest take on that whole interview was that his mom's the bigger hard ass than his dad.
I could see that.
That makes so much sense now. That Mama didn't raise no B word, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned that before. I kind of,
I guess I
had
never
gotten that vibe that she was. I mean, I've talked to her. And we interviewed the first time I ever interviewed him, or first 2 times, I think. Like she sat there and was like making sure, we didn't do anything, say anything, ask anything that dumb or whatever. And she's involved and she's good at she's part of the team, obviously. All right, let's do X Brand Forum check-in. We've got a few minutes before we get to RJ, about 15 more minutes. X Brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, the 23 National Hare and Hound champion, AMA National Enduro champion from 23 Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as motocross, supercross, and arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and many more. Visit EKSbrand.com where you go to your local dealership. And don't forget to let them know the MotoXpod show sent you. X Brand Forum check-in. So we have 2 that we can touch on. I'm pulling them up. Team USA, let's start with the first one. Eli Tomac, this is from a forum post. Eli Tomac takes himself out of consideration for Team USA. What do you guys think about that? I thought that was pretty stand-up. And then there's a few people that are pissed about it.
The question is, was he like saying, AP, you deserve this. I'm just going to go ahead and just take myself out because I feel like you deserve this.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he said.
Now, do you think that if he had caught AP in that second moto and passed him, that the same thing would have happened?
I don't know, because I feel like after last week at Bud's, and he was like, well, I'm not where I thought I should be. Maybe he was more gassed. Maybe he realized, I'm still, even though I rode well, maybe he realized, I'm not where AP is.
He probably decided it.
Well, it is kind of interesting looking at these results that obviously there was some pressure there and some motivation for AP because it was the only race all year that he went 2-2. So he was obviously giving it the mustard and definitely wanted to prove something. I think he did.
I mean, he went last year when nobody wanted to. I think that should somewhat give him the nod to begin with.
I think my main takeaway, though, is that it's pretty stand-up of Eli to say pre-race, like, hey, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like AP deserves this because he's been here. Let's see where I am. Like, if he had gone out and went, 2-2 and just smoked AP or even 1-2 or 2-1, then he might have been like, ooh, maybe I should go.
Yeah.
But I just find it really respectful that he's like, no, man, AP deserves it.
That's cool.
Everybody was kind of thinking this was going to be his last year. I think that was why he was getting a lot of that. And then he announced that he's going to do it next year. Again. Well, he announced that he's doing it. He's racing next year too. So he could do it next year. I guess
he could.
That took some of the urgency off getting him on there.
I did think that it was interesting though because with all the talk from everything on our end was, well, what does Tomac have to do? To garner the right to go and earn the spot. And when I was watching it and I saw him how well he was riding and went 4-3 and
did look good
catching those guys, I was like, that's about what you would want to see. Like he's got 6 more weeks to get better than that. I mean,
that's the thing I said last week. Is there's a lot of time in between where he can get better, and he's going to be riding SMX, and he's going to be improving.
After that ride, I wouldn't be mad that he got picked.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been mad anyways, but you know what I mean.
That's what was interesting is that he did show that he probably was capable of doing it, and then pulled himself out. So it's big move on his part.
But there's some people in this forum chat that are very upset because they're like, well, the goal is to go win, and they feel like Eli overall is the better rider. And the AP's like second tier, and I don't totally agree with that.
I think that you have to go off of the season. Like, you got to send the best team, but AP said it. He said, is he second in SMX points now, I think? Or
in SMX?
Yeah.
I'd have to pull it up.
Let me pull it up. But he was saying he's the second, he's third best guy in outdoors, and like he's the second best American. Like he feels like he deserves it, and I think that there's got to be something to that. The body of work for this season is what qualifies you for the nations this year.
I agree. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I was fine either way, but I like that
he's fourth in SMX points.
Okay,
behind Jet.
It was cool of him to bow out like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was stand up behind Hunter and Jason Anderson. Okay. So he's a little ways behind those points, but still very, very stoked on it. The other forum post that I kind of want to touch on just real quick, this is being more to us guys in Texas a little bit, but kudos to Ted Parks, an American hero. TPJ, Ted Parks' journey, what else was it? The privateer journey. Ted's done after this season. Ted's been around for what?
So, oh, wow.
You didn't
didn't see that on the broadcast?
Okay. Well, he started
Should've just kept my
TPJ in
mouth shut.
2006. He's been doing it for 18 years. What'd you say?
I should have just kept my mouth shut.
Yep,
When I
probably
opened
should have.
it. Yeah.
Probably should have. But guys like Weston Pike, Adam Insignap, Ryan Clark from Team Solitaire now, Daniel Blair even pitted under that tent for a time or two. But if you guys don't know, Ted Parks, TPJ, it's a privateer team. Basically, you can buy in for a certain amount, but he supplies you with everything you need. It has all the parts, plastic, fuel, gives you basically as close to a factory team as you can get and it just helps out a lot of these guys. You know, you pay a small fee and then or whatever, probably a large fee, but
he's probably
less than it would take if you just did it on your own.
Right.
And you get all this extra stuff and he helps out and feeds them and all these different things.
He's done it for years, and he's probably helped more privateers than anybody in the sport.
Yeah, he's been, like I said, been around a long time, and it's a negative that he's going away.
Yeah.
But I'm going to reach out to him, try to get him on the show. It's been a little bit since we've talked to him, and kind of, I think he's
tired of being gone.
His wife's tired of being on the road all the time, and she's a big part of it, and it's just.
What's going to be the gap that we see from that? Are we going to notice a difference between the privateers that are able to make the races because of that, or more?
Probably we won't notice it.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys aren't even making. Some of his guys aren't even making the main events or the show, so it's guys that we don't really see.
There'll be
but
some
it's
more
going
box
to
fans
hurt
or
the riders, the
fans.
privateer riders that do kind of rely on it. Again, I don't think we'll see it unless we're really focused on those back markers, unfortunately. But it's still, he was a benefit to the sport for sure. So
I'm
the
sure
riders themselves will definitely feel it.
I'm sure somebody will pop up and fill that spot.
Well, also there's more teams coming too, so it'll create more opportunity as well.
True.
All right, Barnett clutches, clutch performance of the week, and then we'll get to RJ Hampshire. With 75 years of experience behind them, Barnett Dirt Digger clutch kits feature friction materials exclusive to Barnett for maximum performance and durability. Get 10% off with promo code VitalMX, all caps, at barnettclutches.com and feel the Barnett difference. Guys, you ride your bikes. If you're out there riding every week, you're going to need a clutch. Go use the best, barnettclutches.com. Use that VitalMX promo code so they know you're listening. Save a little bit of money. I've got to order one pretty soon, I think, for the 350 already because you got to use the clutch a whole lot more in that 350 than the YZ 450. Either one of you want to go first on your Barnett clutches clutch performance? Go ahead, Scotty.
Mine is going to be AP. I thought that he had to do that to keep his Donations ride.
Yep.
And obviously he was under a little bit of pressure, and like we just mentioned earlier that he went 2-2, which he hasn't done all year. So I think that he stepped up and had a great race, and it was cool seeing him and Chase kind of both celebrating. AP revved the bike at some point with him too, and I just like that team's working, and he got it done. So that was my clutch performance.
Vince Pell from T-Boat USA would agree with you. That came in. He said AP came in clutch. He knew he had to stand up and make a statement for himself and also for his teammate, and he beat Hunter straight up, and that hasn't happened yet this year. Excuse me. He also solidified his position in the running for MXON. So that was Vince's opinion, and I do agree with that. You want to do yours?
Yeah, Phil going 8-8 for 7th at the last national. I mean, they talked to him before the first moto, and he was kind of emotional and stuff. So he held it together for the last one. Did good. It's good to see him going. He's going to be back for SMX, but you know what I mean.
He was in second for a second, wasn't he? I mean,
he pulled the whole shot.
He's a good starter, man.
That's kind of Phil's thing. It's awesome when he gets up there.
Starter.
Yeah.
You get a lot more. You starting 8th and staying there, you get a lot less attention than starting first, going back to 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I had AP on my list too, but I also had a backup just in case because I figured that would be pretty common. So I went Geyser going 1-1 over in Switzerland just because this championship is winding down, and now he's 18 up on Prado, I think 42 up on Hurlings. But Geyser's just, he's been clutch this season, and I like it. I think everybody that knows me knows that I'm a Geyser fan, but a really good ride. That track was disgusting, dude. Like I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I watched a little bit of qualifying and a bunch of the racing. Started out, looked like on Saturday. I didn't get a chance to talk to Lewis about this, but it looked extremely rocky. Like the start looked like a shitty beach that's just full of chunks of rocks and shells.
gravel.
It just looked like it would hurt like hell.
Yeah.
And then it must have rained either later that evening or overnight because it was a muddy mess.
MXGPs, man.
It was a muddy mess the next day and sloppy and not the greatest race of the series for sure. But yeah, guys are 1-1. Herlings, I believe, went 2-2.
Does that say more to the validation that he earns his championship because it was crappy conditions and he was the toughest one through it? Or do you still feel?
Really,
I don't know because Prado's not great at starts, so he didn't get the best.
I thought he was great at starts.
He's better on stuff like that. Anyways,
I didn't mean Herlings is not great at starts.
Oh, okay.
Prado's not great in the mud, according to Lewis. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry. And it was pretty muddy, so Prado actually still rode pretty damn good for the conditions. But yeah, Herlings is not generally great at starts, so I think Geyser is usually pretty good at starts, and he rode well. So I don't know that it.
The reason I bring that
would
up
say
is
more if it would have been a sand race and he did that.
That's true.
That's a good point. Yeah. The reason I bring that up because it seems like the narrative this season is that Prado and Herlings have kind of been the faster guys that just have had some bad luck and are not leading the points. So that's why I asked if that ride kind of made it to where he more deserving of the podium or the championship lead.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's just been maintaining all year. I think.
Got to be there to win it.
Yeah, Geyser and Lewis mentioned this at the beginning of the year that it's just kind of what Geyser does. He's really consistent like that, and that's if he's going to win the championship, that's why he would. But we got our next guest of the night on, so let's get to him. He's going to be brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight seat foam. Don't forget they have a complete seat for the Talaria and Super 73 and covers for the Sur-Ron and Segway. They strive to ship orders within 36 hours, so visit gutsracing.com and let them know the MotoXpod show sent you. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from the Rockstar Husqvarna team, RJ Hampshire. What's up, RJ?
Not much, guys. How's it going?
Going good, man. Did that Guts Racing seat keep you locked in this weekend at Ironman?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Hey, I love that seat. The whole I've kind of changed with over years. Where now, if you notice, I do have a bump on my seat.
I was about to ask
a little bit more traction also. And I've kind of gone to that last year, I think, and yeah, I love it now.
I've thought about trying one of the bumps, but then I was like, well, if I don't like it, I'm stuck with it because it's not as easy for me to get a different seat as it is for you.
Yeah, I go through quite a few of them. So my mechanic, I don't even think about it anymore. But yeah, it's probably a pain to get that thing on.
Yeah. All right, man. 2024 Supercross West Coast champion. I don't know if we've talked to you since the title. So how does that feel a couple of months later?
Man, it was awesome. Like it's hard to kind of explain because, man, I was on such a high leaving, Salt Lake and had a couple of cross-country flights, and then I'm back, ready to go into outdoors. And, man, I was so confident coming into that. And like I said, on such a high and, just excited to go racing. And then, before I even get to go racing, boom, snap my wrist. And, head back home. Like I literally was on a flight that next morning. And, man, I kind of got home and I was like, maybe this was kind of like the plan all along. Like, at first it's like, man, it's such a bummer. Like, dude, I was so bummed. And then I had like kind of one of my best summers I've ever had. Like just being able to spend time with my family and like enjoy that championship. I mean, yeah, it sucked. Don't get me wrong. Like I definitely want to be out there racing, but, yeah, man, I got to do a lot of cool things and, spend a lot of time at home and just kind of reflect on it. Cause you guys know it's taken me so long to get to that point.
Yep.
And yeah, just to, kind of look back on it and enjoy it was, real special. And like, even still, like I just went back to the races, a couple weeks ago and I haven't seen a lot of these guys since I won. Just for instance, last weekend, Jordan Smith's dad, Jordan and I have battled our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And, he came up to me just like congratulating me and everything because like a lot of these guys haven't seen me since then. So it's still kind of like a new feeling to me.
Yeah, I heard you tell Lewis Phillips, our guy Lewis, the same kind of thing, that you got to do a lot of fun stuff with the family, so you were able to get a positive out of it. But yeah, you went from the highest of highs, finally getting that championship, to like, all right, let's go do it outdoors now. Let's show what we got. And it just, before you even get a chance to do it falls apart. Yeah. So it's like high, low, but then you find the positive in it, get to spend time with your family and your kids and do some things that you normally don't get to do. So, yeah, I don't know. When you look back on this year, say a year from now, you're probably like, yeah, okay, that was a pretty damn good year.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Like, even if it just were to end now, like, I mean, dude, I was going at it for, I know there's probably been a lot of guys that have been, but I went like almost, I think, 3 years straight with not really a break at all. Even last year with racing nations and stuff and trying to deal with my health, like, man, I didn't have any time off. So, I mean, dude, I feel so like rejuvenated and fresh just from having that, you know, it was right around 3 months off, where that's longer than any off season I've had in the last, 5 years. So I'm hoping that just that little break right there kind of extends my peak. Cause I mean, I'm still not at my peak, but just extends that sweet spot of me enjoying going racing.
I like that. You're not at your peak yet. I love it.
No, man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's like, I mean, even going on the races, like, dude, yeah, I've been around a lot, but man, I'm still learning, and like, I feel like I'm getting better. And just what you guys seen over the weekend, like, I didn't even expect that. No one expected that, but just kind of taking what it gives me and believing I can still be at that level, if not better.
Yeah, RJ, you're talking about getting back to that, and it obviously it takes a while to do so. And Butts Creek, you went 8-9, and then Ironman, you got on the podium. That was a pretty big gap from 1 week to another. Just to see that you were able to do that quick has got to give us confidence going into the SMX. And was that podium, was that a little bit higher than expected going into this weekend?
I mean, man, if you guys would have seen what my days, I said it, like what you seen like leading up to Bud's Creek, I had 2 days on the bike that were even worth something, and they were both on Supercross track because we were riding SMX, and that's really what I was focusing on. Was like, look, I need to be ready for Charlotte. So I haven't rode my outdoor bike since I crashed at Paula, and then I show up at Bud's Creek, and it's an all new setting suspension because, of course, like we get updates throughout the year. So yeah, I went out there at Bud's Creek, and I didn't even know if I was going to race, to be honest with you. Like, I was going to do press day and then, practice and kind of just see. And yeah, like, dude, I left Bud's Creek like, man, this thing is killing me. Let's kind of see where we're at. I ended up riding Tuesday on here in Florida. I did one moto. That was my second moto I've done since I've been back on the bike, and then got rained out the rest of the week. So then it was like, all right, well, I'm going to go racing. I'm not sure how I'm going to do. But man, like I said, it just kind of comes back into just believing I know I can be up front and battle for the, podiums. Yeah, I mean, I'd say realistically, I was probably at a 65, 70%, speed, health, fitness. And, yeah, I mean, I was surprised to, land on the box. But like I said, it's also just believing I can do that.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of speculation and talk about like, hey, and it's kind of cool that we have this SMX playoffs to entice you guys to come back, but like, is it pretty safe to say that you wouldn't have been at these last 2 rounds if it wasn't for this upcoming championship?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so, but also Lewis actually reminded me over the weekend, like that was probably my last outdoor national on a 250 that I'm going to race. Mm-hmm. So if someone would have told me that, leading up to it, and this was the end of the season, I probably would have still came back to race just to end it on, knowing that I still went out and gave it my best effort. So yeah, I mean, give or take, but also it's like, look, I was seeded already, with my Supercross, so it doesn't change too much. I think I maybe didn't lose 1 point. Like that's kind of what the difference was for me coming back to race. So yeah. It was more just me getting like that intensity and race back. And like you said, you've seen the difference between 1 week of me just getting back racing. And honestly, we look back to how I came into SMX last year. and Charlotte was terrible for me. But it was because I came off of that. I had a 2-week break from my Unadilla crash. So just losing that little bit of race intensity really hurt me, and I didn't want to have that same thing coming into it this year.
2 quick things. You just mentioned our guy Lewis Phillips, and he appreciates you giving him credit for reminding you of that. I promise you, Lewis is one of my good buddies. He works with us at Vital, and yeah, I know he was pretty happy that pretty proud that he was the first to mention that. But other than that, you've talked a couple times with Lewis and just with us about how little you've got to ride recently. James Stewart said on the broadcast, when you ride or say that, it's never the truth, that you always ride more than you say.
Man, I wish. Hey, I'm 100%. I wish that was the case. Like,
okay.
I rode 2 days. So 2 weeks ago, I rode 2 days on an outdoor track, and dude, I was no joke. I think I was 10 seconds a lap off of AP in them. Like, it was that bad, dude. I couldn't hang on. I couldn't last 20 minutes. Like, It was hurting that bad. And then I rode 2 days of the SMX leading up to Budds Creek. So you can take kind of what you want from it. Sure. I mean, you can check my hour meters on my bike. It is not much. And still, even leading up to this weekend, I still have yet to practice on my suspension that I'm racing on, because the suspension showed up for me to ride Wednesday. Last week, and we got rained out. So I was still like, all right, well, and honestly, man, I put a lot of trust in like the team and our suspension guy, Hunter, where it's like, hey, look, I'm lost right now. Like, you give me the best thing you got, and we're going to try to make it better throughout the day. But I'm so focused on kind of hanging on right now, so I don't really have too great of feedback, which usually I'm pretty good at that stuff. So yeah, he was kind of able to lead me to a comfortable setting, and I mean, enough to get it done for the weekend. And even for the future, where it's like, okay, look, this is my last, outdoor on a 250. Like, I'm not gonna focus on trying to get this suspension much better because it's gonna be completely different for me next year. And I'm pretty solid on my Supercross setting, which I'm gonna race SMX on. Yep. So I'd rather spend more time on that than my outdoor stuff.
So I've heard you talk about it a few times, but the kids are always super stoked to get your trophies. How stoked were they to get the that championship one?
Oh man, it was so cool, and like, because I flew from there to California, and my girls flew home to Florida. So then whenever I got back to Florida, my oldest, she like made me a champ sign with a trophy and stuff on it, and it's still hanging in our like dining room area because she like won't let me take it down. And then I don't know if you guys seen the picture from this weekend where she's sitting there holding up a third place trophy, but still holding the number one up. And she has. I mean, it's so cute because then like even just going on the weekends now, she's like, Dad, like you got to try to win the championship. Yeah,
Daddy's always number one.
We can win it this. Yeah, we can win it this weekend. Awesome. But,
that's great.
It's cool. Yeah, and like it's even. I mean, I have all my kind of trophies and stuff now upstairs, and like once we end up kind of getting to our final area, we'll have kind of like a more set up area. Yeah. But she tries to keep like all the trophies in her room. Like she'll steal and put them in there.
That's cool, man. It's pretty cool to see somebody working so hard to get back to it and still making time for their kids. So I just want to commend you on being a pretty good dad, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go off of that a little bit. Earlier in your career, do you think that what things that you've been able to have motivating, like your kids and that family background, do you think that stuff that you've gotten at this point and won the championship, was that like maybe a missing factor earlier in the career? Does some of that stuff and maturity help you finally get this championship?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just the way I look at things now. Like, man, it's so different than years past where I was so worried about like what's next, or like, what if I don't get re-signed? What am I gonna do, or whatever? And you stress yourself out so much. And I'm just kind of at the point now where it's like, yeah, I mean, I built an awesome family, and I'm so thankful for everything I have and been able to do in this sport. But I'm more kind of living like in the now, and then figure it out whenever that time comes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this year, man, I was so locked in on going racing on the weekends, but then just so separated from it whenever I came home and was able to be like, look, enjoy this time. Try to take advantage of, everything I can. And, it kind of goes back to how my summer went. Like, man, I literally did not, I watched a couple outdoor, races as much as I could. But just kind of really separated myself from it and got to enjoy that family time.
Mm-hmm.
Where now it's like, I'm back and I'm like, all right, like you guys see me this weekend, like, man, I was just so motivated and, pushing to try to, still do the best I can. And I don't know, man, like I'm 28, but I see these guys going now, much older. I don't know what's changed in our sport or, whatnot, but I don't know. Like I feel like I still have, I'd say, a really good 3 to 4 years in me that I can keep improving. And just kind of figure it out as I go. That's where I'm at in life right now.
Love it. One more thing, just with Ironman off this weekend, I asked Haiden the same question a little bit ago, and I asked the guys in the studio, when asked, when we do like a poll, generally Millville or Redbud are the favorite tracks of you riders and fans, et cetera. I want to know where Ironman now ranks, because to me it has jumped to the number 2 spot as a viewer.
Man, I enjoy that place. Like I don't know, like if you guys watched and could tell, but there were so many different options that you could take. The lines were sick. Like the prep job I felt was really good. Like it wasn't too deep where you were just kind of slot cars, and even how they prepped it for in between motos, like going out for our second moto, I don't know if you could see, but they prepped some of the outsides where it made like, okay, because usually you're shooting to the inside, 'cause that's always kind of the shorter, faster route, where now that outside's groomed and also a faster line. And just you have opportunities to pass and chances to pass. Dude, if it wasn't for my wrist, I would say Ironman was probably one of the best right now. But dude, like that Godzilla jump up top, landing off of that thing.
Yeah.
And then that stupid straightaway where you kind of drop down into a hole and you have like a double, dude. Like
it's a quad, RJ. Hayden quadded it.
Yeah, I wasn't quadding that either. So I was hitting every bump down into the G outs and forks hitting. Dude, I felt every single bump and hole down that straightaway every lap. So yeah, if I didn't have a bad wrist, that might be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that place. But man, I don't know. Buds for me is.
Oh wow.
It's more of like a fun track. Like,
okay.
It's not. It doesn't race that well, I feel.
Right.
But if I'm a vet guy, I'm going to ride Buds.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, RJ, by the way, because we were talking about the Ironman earlier.
Yeah, the covered bridge section.
Yeah, and I have always called it the last couple of years OJ Lane, because it just seems like every jump is easy just to overshoot. It's real tight. I've always said that they should just take one of them out and make another one bigger. And of course, you know how a podcast goes. They were giving me crap at the beginning of the show for that opinion. So
let's just make it easier.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But honestly, so there, like, at the beginning of that section where, you have like kind of a turning triple, and then you kind of pray that you make it over and don't swap off the next thing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing to change, okay, you guys wouldn't know this, but in the morning when the sun comes up, you're hitting that jump completely blind.
Ooh.
And every single rider out there will know what I'm talking about. Like, you cannot see at all. So if we can change the angle or whatever, maybe even take that whole section out, because I don't like it either. But do something different off of that with the sun. I know they can't move the sun, but we can move the kind of direction we're hitting that at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe the one time where they tried to kill us with the bunny hop over the wall.
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
Dino'd. Yeah, that would have ended someone's day real quick. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I like the place though.
Yeah, it's coming. It's definitely, as a viewer, it's become one of my favorites. But let's talk about, first of all, RJ Hampshire brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Let's talk about next season. I know you talked about this a little bit with Lewis, and you've talked about, I think, in the press conference, on the past with us. Next year, defend the title, 450 opposite coast, 450 outdoors. That's still the plan, I believe. the idea of racing both coasts, though, while defending a title, that could be questionable, right? I mean, you could go out, be leading the championship, and then go out and something bad could happen in the 450 class. Do you feel like you'll weigh that option at the time, or are you locked in? This is what I'm doing.
Well, I'm locked in on spending most of this off season on a 450. So that I think I'll get my answer kind of based off of how I feel and where I'm at on that side of it, like riding with the guys, at Alden's on the 450. Man, it's hard to say. Like, yeah, of course, if I'm leading that championship, like we'll make that call when it comes.
Sure.
But there is a home race, I believe, coming back on the schedule. That would be cool to race. That wasn't on it this year. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, a couple here in Florida. I'm a Florida boy, so
right.
I would like to race those. But also, yeah, like you said, we'll see when that comes. And also, like, do I spend that time to try to prep for that outdoors on a 450? Because I mean, I really don't have much time on it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see when that comes. But yeah, as of now, I'm racing 450 for sure, outdoors, SMX, and moving forward from then.
And yeah, you are. I heard the same thing. The rumor is Tampa Supercross is back this year. So
let's go.
Yeah.
I've also heard, we've always had the RJ is a little sketchy. RJ is going to RJ, whatever. And you're like, hey, I'm the same guy. I've heard you keep saying I'm the same guy. I can't really back it down when I get out there. But it does seem, I'm going to use this in quotes, so hopefully you don't take offense. It does seem like you're more in control when you're pushing the edge. What do you contribute that to? Or do you feel like it's something with the bike you found, or just what? I mean, what is it?
Oh, it's my bike.
Okay.
100% it's my bike. Like I have a lot more power, a lot more comfort. Man, that's the thing that really bums me out too about this kind of missing this this outdoors. Cause dude, the guys did work really hard to give me a good bike. Like, man, I'm not kidding you. Like that bike I rode, Paula Preste, dude, I was so stoked. Like, I'm going to win this. Like, I don't care. I'm going winning. And then, dude, just to see it kind of go away, and it's like, gosh darn it! Like, then for me to go out there this weekend, like I think that it was cool for myself, and just kind of showed the grit I had to go and do that. But also, it kind of gave the team some credit. I would hope. Like, look, he was on a really good bike. I mean, because dude, like, it was over 3 months of not riding, and dude, I spent 90% of the time out on the boat in the ocean, and then to come in and then podium my second race out. Like, I don't have that many podiums, like outdoors. I do not have that many. So to come off the couch pretty much and go out there and podium, like, goes to show, like, man, I was on a really good bike, and just wish I had a little bit more time to prove it. But also we still have three rounds coming up that are pretty big. So,
yes, they are.
Yeah. So hoping to, who knows, man? I could still win another championship this year.
Let's get done.
Yeah, with the upcoming changes to the Austrian team, the consolidation and moving, like, do you feel that it's going to really affect you in any way, or do you think it's going to be positive? What are some of the pros and cons as you look to the future of that change?
Is the change? I mean, I don't know what I can say or what not.
I know. I'm kind of generalizing. Just
so, in theory or hypothetically, well, okay, TLD gas goes away, and maybe a couple other riders are under the tent or that one of the same area as you.
I'm not a real media guy, RJ, so I just kind of say stuff off the top of my head.
So Scotty, for the listeners, we're hearing TLD gas is going away. Ryder D and Barsha are going to probably stay on gas, but be under a separate truck that was one of the Husky trucks, but kind of same team as Rockstar Husky. I don't really know what's going to be branded. So yeah, that's what he's asking. If hypothetically that happens,
more of how he felt it was going to affect his program.
Sure.
Well, what I know what I can say is that everybody that's under contract right now is the only deals that are going into 25.
Right.
So anyone that sign with gas will still be on a gas. Me and Malcolm will for sure be on a Husky. And yeah, I don't think there's going to be much changes for myself or Malcolm. Like, we still have Nate Dogg as our team manager and still have Tony as our crew chief, our mechanics. Yeah, I mean, I'll still have Amos, so I don't think it'll really affect us too much. I'm still at Alden's. Malcolm's still here. AP's still here, so we still ride with the same group of guys. They have made a lot of changes and updates to our bikes, which, if anything, that's going to be a positive side to it. Like, I mean, when I just came back to race these last two, like, dude, I had new stuff like crazy, like so many different options where I was like, dang, like, it's crazy. I'm gone for 3 months and I come back and have, all these different changes, suspension, clutch, and all this stuff, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really going to affect me too much. If anything, it's going to help me out. And yeah, I mean, our team's solid. So we have a good group. I'm not too worried about it.
Right on.
So I grew up doing a lot of fishing long before I ever touched a dirt bike. And Okeechobee's been on the bucket list in Florida since I was a kid. Is there any other lakes in Florida that you would suggest, like where you like to fish in Florida?
Man, I'm not. I fish a lot on the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Like, there is a Johns Lake here in Claremont that Malcolm talked up big time, and the only time I did go with him, dude, we didn't even get a bite. We sat out there in the blazing heat for hours, didn't even get a bite. So, yeah, I don't know, but it's also just bringing up the whole fishing deal. Levi and I actually went on a charter during that weekend off before Unadilla.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I mean, it was cool. Like, two guys that just battled out for the championship out there fishing.
Yeah,
and then we walk into a coffee shop it's like 6 a.m. in Tampa. And just so happens we have two big Supercross fans that are in there in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, like, dude, they noticed us, whatever, massive, like, they're freaking out. And then we walk out. We're like, dude, like, what are the chances that we run into someone there at 6 a.m.?
Right.
And then Levi's like, dude, what are the chances, like, they're thinking right now that we just seen two guys that battle for the championship walk in for coffee at 6 a.m.
I thought they hated each other. Yeah.
That's so cool, though. Yeah. That's so cool for those fans. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I got just a couple more for you. With the wrist injury, I didn't notice you wearing a wrist brace racing. Did you try one at all?
Yeah. Dude, the Mobius brace is awesome. Too.
Okay.
Like, I'm not hating on that at all. Like, I talked to Scott a bunch over there, and if you have a wrist injury and if you want to get back on the bike 100%, I feel you need to start with that Mobius brace. But for myself, because I used to run it in the past also, and then I rely on it so much where I felt like I wasn't getting the strength back I needed in my wrist. So whenever I started back riding this time, there was no way I could have rode without it the first week. Like, I had to have that thing on just for the support factor. But then, yeah, I just took it off and look, I'm going to tape this thing up and suck it up to try to get past this, hump faster than that.
All right. Yeah, I've been wearing a wrist brace since like 2007.
It's just because you're old.
Well, I broke my wrist 3 times, and I feel like I kind of think of it as like a helmet for my wrist. So I'm going to always wear it. But you're level on those little things kind of,
my wrists are
probably, it probably changes a little bit how you twist the throttle and, use the clutch, and it just, I guess it affects you differently, but, they're very good. So I'm actually about to write an article for Vital on the uses of wrist brace uses and their positives and negatives. So I want to ask you about that. Yeah. 2 more things I got real quick. Racing with Kenny this weekend. How was that? Just having him out there.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Kenny's awesome, and he's going to be fast. Like, it was kind of like just a joke before we went out. Like, dude, if I cannot get beat out of the gate by this dang Suzuki. Like, do not let me get beat out of this Suzuki.
Come on, man.
No, but then first moto, I actually had a good start, and then I think someone hit me or something in the first turner.
Sure, RJ.
Corner,
Sure.
Way back. Yeah. And then I'm looking ahead to see who I was ahead, and sure enough, I see Kenny out T4. I'm like, gosh, dang it. So, and then at first, dude, I wasn't even catching him. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. But No, it was cool. I mean, like, dude, the same thing, like, for me coming back to race, like, not being scared to, get your ass kicked. Like, really, like, that's kind of what that was.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the same for Kenny. Like, hey, look, I want to do this. I'm not scared to go out and get beat. Like, I'll still have my confidence and stuff. So that takes a lot. Like, dude, there's a lot of guys out there that would not do that. Like,
I agree.
even the ones that are winning right now, like, yeah, they
Too
would
much
not
ego.
do that because they can't. Yeah, 100%. They can't break their ego. Where it's like, I respect someone that is willing to do that. Which, yeah, that was cool. I mean, it's cool for our sport, our class too.
Two more questions. We'll let you go.
It's not a question, just off of what it's talking about. When I didn't get to watch race day live, and when I saw the race and saw that he was second qualifier, I was like, oh boy, like, here we go. It's going to be awesome.
He can put one fast one in. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
RJ, we had.
Dude, even
go ahead.
so. First practice, I came by and I thought I did like a pretty fast lap, and the mechanics area was right after the finish. So like I rolled over the single, and my pit board said P17, and I was like, I looked at Amos, I was like, hey, like, come on, update that thing, like, freshen it up. So then I go down, I turn back around, I'm looking for him. He's just giving me like the twisted sign, like, dude, you're not even close. And then I look, and Kenny's like 6 seconds faster than me on a dang 04 or whatever. Gosh damn it, dude.
Yeah.
RJ, I'm using that quote now. I'm going to use
Hey,
that.
we've all thought it. No, RJ ain't the only one. But
Go ahead, Scotty.
so we had a listener, one of our YouTube listeners had a question. It says, heard RJ mention the danger zone on the podium. What RJ the veteran makes of Haiden Deegan? ?
Dude, I'm honestly surprised I didn't Weege actually texted me today, and he's the first one that's even said anything about my interview or whatever. And it's, I mean, dude, I'm a Deegan fan. Like, dude, he's good for the sport. Like, he's sick on a dirt bike. Like, I'll give it to the kid. I don't listen to the interviews for good reasons, because then I usually I won't like someone based off of their interview.
Yep.
So I'd rather just not listen to them. And that's how I've been for the last 5 or 6 years. So I don't listen to a lot of things because I don't want to get that, I don't know, I just kind of that fake feel, or not the real person. So yeah, that's how I am. So I see Haiden as a kid that goes out there, has fun on his dirt bike, and is damn good.
It's probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah, like, and I'm gonna battle with him these last 3 rounds. And even like, dude, like I say, I'm not going to listen to anything or whatever. And then I was watching the Dirt Shark video or something about like the last round with me and Levi. And, like they asked Haiden, like, who do you want to win or whatever. And he said something about me trying to take him out at Vegas or at LA last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, if you thought that was me trying to take you out, like, that's not the case. Yeah. I was just like, man, I don't know.
Well,
but no, like I said, I have a lot of respect for him and his family. Like, they've never done anything wrong to me. And I mean, it's the same thing. Like, he's going to race me hard. I'm going to race him hard. So, I mean, I really hope we can put on a good show these last 3, and I'm there and be able to battle. I will say though, dude, whenever I was with him, the second moto, I think this weekend, and he was doing that stupid section I was just talking about, how you quad, drop down, whatever. Dude, he yapped me by 2 seconds in that one section. Like, there was no way I could do that. I was like, all right, well, I'll try to make it up somewhere else, but I'm not doing that.
That's going to demoralize him. But
RJ, he was our first interview, and he said that they took out his double, so he had to do something. He had to send something, so he just started doing that.
Yeah, no, it was fast too. Like I said, there was no way I would have fell off if I tried to do that.
Yeah,
it's funny with what you just said about the interview. So I've been interviewing for a long time, and I always defend him because he doesn't act that way when you're just talking to him one-on-one. He's very respectful, and he's all but admitted, it's kind of just like, I just say whatever because I know it works sometimes. It does get under people's skin. And, he's kind of admitted I'm just messing with people. So,
that's the thing. Like, even like like you see everybody freaking out on his whatever for the outdoor podiums and stuff. And it was like, man, like, that was another thing. I was like, man, I wish I could be there and like actually fire something back. Like I enjoy that stuff. Like, I don't exactly, like, I'm back to that same point. Like, I don't care if I go out there and get my ass kicked. Like, I'll put on a show or whatever. Like, you're going to get my best. If that's my best, then that's it. And like, I'll still talk crap to the kid. Yeah, so man, I hope we could have something kind of going back and forth these last 3.
Me too. All right, 2 quick ones. How was the first pitch at the Tampa Bay Rays game? I mean, you could have went professional baseball if you hadn't gone motocross, from what I hear.
They played him, dude.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that far, but I mean, I was definitely a pretty good baseball player, and then they set me up, man. You've heard the story. I get down there, they get in my head, and then they don't even let me have a warm-up pitch, and then I get on the mound, and the dude told me don't bounce it in here, and dude, I'm standing on the mound, and dude, it feels like I'm sitting on a mountain, so I'm like, of course, like, I don't want to think like I have to throw it, easy or throw it low because I'm high, so I'm like, all right, here it goes, and dude, it just right out of my hand, straight to the backstop. Almost took the mascot out.
The mascot was taunting you, though. That's I mean, that's not your fault,
dude. He had his glove and everything.
Yeah. I saw one on
Never trust a mascot.
Twitter or somewhere the other day. I don't remember who it was, but the dude hit the mascot like in the or
the camera guy. I've seen that before.
The camera guy. Yeah. So
yours definitely wasn't the worst one I've seen. Oh, by any means.
No, but see, then it was like, then I have an excuse. I'm like, hey, look, no one would have talked about it if it was good.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true.
Everybody's talking about it.
Let's close this out. I asked Haiden this question. What are your thoughts on motocross media? What we do, the questions we ask, positives, negatives, anything stand out to you? What can we do better? You can be honest.
I mean, dude, honestly, all right. Well, yeah, like this weekend, man, bugged me big time. Like, just how, like, because I'm usually one, like, if Dark Side, you can say this too. Like, if you come up to me, like, I'm going to be straightforward with you. I'm going to give you a good interview, everything. So Lewis is the same way. Like, every interview I've ever done with Lewis, like, it's probably one of the best ones I'll do.
Yep.
It's the way they kind of present themselves to you. But then it's like, dude, whenever we came off the track this weekend, like, I was pretty smoked. Someone did an interview with me as soon as I got back to the rig. So this is like before I even got undressed.
Oh, wow.
And then,
Jesus.
And then whatever, I'm waiting. Someone came over again before Lewis, before we went to press conference, did one then. And then Lewis came over. And of course, like, I'm going to give Lewis the time of day. So I did a good one with him. And then I have someone waiting for me to do another one before I go to the press conference. And I was like, no, like, whatever, I'll get back to you. Like, hoping, okay, I won't have to make up for that one. Like, I'm going to go to the press conference. Go to the press conference. And I even stopped at the dang media corral thing or whatever.
Yeah. The scrum, yeah.
So I did one there or whatever. Then I go to sit in the media tent for 30 minutes or whatever, do one there. And then as soon as I walk out of the media tent, I literally turn the corner and another one. Hey, let me grab you real quick. And dude, I'm just like, at this point, like, dude, we just did a full day.
Yeah.
It's 6 or whatever, 5 something, 6 o'clock. Like, dude, that's the last. This is the 10th interview we want to do. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it's also the person that I guess is giving it. Like, if that was Lewis hanging out at the end of the press conference, I wouldn't even have cared. Like, just kind of how it is. But I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people like expect or like think like we kind of owe them something or whatever. But it's like, man, like if it's not for the team or whatever else, because people don't know, like, we also do one for the team, and the team then sends whatever out off. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not complaining or anything like that. Just I think sometimes they ask way too much of us at the end of a day.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you guys are wore out, but I'll tell you from Vital, we appreciate you giving us the time, and I always appreciate you saying yes to the show when you can.
It sounds, RJ, like you need to get one of those little little sticker or ticket number things they have at a deli counter. Yeah. Now serving 38.
I mean, the idea now with the scrum is that your team manager will bring you to a few of them. You don't have to do all of them, and we are supposed to be respectful of that and only go to the scrum. The problem is half the time, or not your team manager, I guess your team manager or your PR person, we don't get a lot of riders showing up, so then we go searching, and then it does become a free-for-all, and it probably is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but it's more like we do. I mean, honestly, man, I probably did 15 interviews at the end of the race, and it's like, dude, if it's anyone other than, even Michael, like Antonovich, like I try to give him the time of day, and I mean, the main ones. Yeah. If it's not like that, then it's like, dude, you're getting shit answers from me. Like, you can clearly tell I don't want to do this right now.
Right.
I mean, it's not a disrespect or anything, but it's like, dude, I just have done this so many times today.
You've said it 4
yeah,
times
but also
already.
it's like I'm 28 years old, so maybe the 18-year-olds are giving you a bit more spark than me.
Sure. Well, just tell
who knows?
Mathis and Weege no from now on, and that cuts 2 out right away. Just cut them out.
Yeah. No.
All right, RJ, I'm going to let you go, man. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And again, from Vital and the MotoXpod show, we do appreciate you giving us the time. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good night. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, RJ Hampshire brought to you by Guts Racing. Man, good show tonight. I feel like
Yeah.
it's
been 2 good interviews.
Short one interview for you guys listening, just so you know why. Well, one, we moved the show because of honestly just because of Steve's schedule a little bit, and I didn't want you guys to have to double up and choose. I figured let's go Monday night, give you something else to listen to.
Well, we got better guests anyways tonight.
We did have a stellar guest, but I had also reached out through Yamaha to try to get Eli on tonight. And I didn't get told that he couldn't do it until midday today. I scrounged a little bit, tried to get like Julian Beaumer on. He couldn't make it. And at the point we decided we're going to do 2 really good guests. I think it was a really good show. We still got a couple more segments to get to. I want to thank ProX for being involved. ProX usually brings us our 3rd guest, but tonight we'll just do a nice read for ProX. And ProX is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They have been supplying quality components for almost 50 years. From complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets, ProX aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. You can find ProX at your local dealer or visit prox-usa.com and search for parts for your bike. Again, like the Barnett clutches, if you got a bike, you're riding, you're going to need stuff, hit up ProX. I have ordered a bunch of stuff through them, filters and stuff in the past, sprockets, all that good stuff. They got you covered. And it supports the show and Vital MX, so we appreciate you using those guys. Let's jump into the T-Bolt USA Top 5. If you are a pit bike enthusiast and love shredding around on a CRF 110, KLX 110, or whatever you have, you need TBoltUSA.com bookmarked on your web browser. T-Bolt USA is a pit bike supply site that has everything you need for your pit bike, from BBR handlebars to D&M shocks and even full bikes from YCF and Pitster. Pro Bikes, T-Bolt USA has it. They even have stuff for the Chinese bikes that are so difficult to find. You'll find everything you need at pit bikes, for pit bikes, engines, and parts at TBoltUSA.com. The T-Bolt Top 5, USA Top 5 tonight was life goals. We've done like racing goals or things like that in the past. This is just life goals. Next week, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com if you want to get involved. The top 5 is going to be the top 5 favorite bikes you've ever ridden. That was sent in by a listener.
That's a good one.
You feel like we've done that one too? I don't know. We have new listeners because these are coming in through emails.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if I don't remember.
Was it worst bikes or best bikes?
I think it was worst bikes.
Was it worst? I think it
Yeah,
was.
I think it
Yeah.
was
I don't know,
worst
man.
bikes.
We're doing
Yeah,
top
because I
5
was here
bikes.
and I was talking about Keith's bike and he got mad about it.
Oh crap!
There you go.
Lewis just sent me a text. Tell RJ he says thank you. I didn't see it, Lewis. I'm sorry.
You should have made Lewis the 3rd guest.
Yeah.
Okay. ML suggested that too. And I talked about it with Lewis, and then I just never actually confirmed with him. So it's on me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the blame on that.
B
one.
minus.
B minus. I'll take the blame on that. Let me pull up. What are your top 5 goals, Scotty? Let's do our listeners real quick. Dwayne sent this in. Number 1, be the type of dad my kids will brag about to the friends because I am always there for them. Not that my dad is a better beard than your dad bragging, even though it would be true. Haha. Build a bus, motorhome conversion, and travel to as many dirt tracks as I can. 3, continue to lose weight from, this is, he had it in kilograms. I was like, I can't read that. 240 to 250 pounds, down to 180 or less, so I can be around long enough to babysit my grandkids. So 22 pounds down so far. Good job, Dwayne. 4, buy land so my kids can have, it says, I guess my kid can have her hobby farm. And then number 5, bring joy in the world with humor, one dad joke at a time. I dig those, Dwayne. Those were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Mine was going to be one is don't die.
That's a good life goal.
That's a good one. That's a good
No,
one.
at least don't die.
Add that to my mine.
Don't die doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Always be like want to be known for helping people and like not like burning bridges.
Okay.
Like always being like a approachable person, that kind of just being a good person. Yeah, kind of that would be one of them.
Yeah. You got a lot of work to do on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Doing better than TJ.
Every day is a grind. I think you distracted me and I forgot what the other ones were.
Oh, did you have them memorized? You didn't have
Yeah,
them
I just
Way to go.
One of them was to be a good dad, have a family, have a job that I actually like enjoy, like actually like doing it, and not just feel like I have to do this because I have to. Was that? I think that's 4.
I think that was 5. But if
Right.
you have
All right.
another one,
That's
go
good.
ahead.
Yeah, we're good.
Want to do yours?
Yeah. One, shoot a supercross. I've shot a national. I'd like to go shoot a supercross.
Let's with the camera,
with the
guys.
camera is
yeah,
what it
let's clarify.
Good call.
710 Designs on
Yep.
Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd also really like to do a heli shoot after seeing one
At Swan this
at,
weekend?
at Swan. Yeah, like I didn't even think it was a possibility. I was like, oh, maybe
be cool.
Maybe we can make it work.
TJ is right, though. It's like we'd be a lot cheaper.
Dude,
just
It's
to use
way
phone.
cooler than a drone.
But his camera can get way better quality than a drone can.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, fair point.
I want to buy some land. I'd like to build out a moto van / camera rig to go cruise around to the amateur nationals and stuff like that. And then my last one is probably the most unattainable, and that is teach TJ grammar and spelling.
That's a good one.
Good one. Okay,
Yeah, good
so I want to jump back to last week real quick, which was top 5 bullies. And we moved, and Marco, I had told those guys that was such a fun topic that we had sent some in. So Marco sent in.
The Bulls one was my idea.
I didn't. Did I take credit for it?
No, I thought you were giving credit to somebody else.
No, it was just
this guy
somebody-
Marco just sent
Oh,
some in.
gotcha.
Because I said go ahead and send them in a week late. I don't
That's
care.
right.
It's a funny topic. Marco said, number 1, Steve Mathis bullies Darkside. 2, Darkside bullies TJ and Scotty.
It's a circle of life, man.
Haiden Deegan bullies Chance Hymas. 4, Jason Anderson bullies Hunter Lawrence. 5, Star Yamaha bullies every team with a fast rider that they want.
That's a good one. That's
Good list, Marco. I like
Hey,
that.
that's just the circle of life,
Yeah,
man. It's just the
good
way
stuff.
she goes.
Okay, so I'm doing mine now, correct?
Yep.
Top 5 life goals, Loretta's 2025.
It's a good one.
Not to be broke. 2.
Well,
That's a better one.
Those kind of
Yeah, those going hand in hand. You're right.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what my goals are. Travel to Australia, New Zealand, places like that, etc. I also threw on there, go to an MXGP. Like to do one of those.
Yeah.
And be more comfortable at my job. I don't know if ML's still listening to Lewis, but I still struggle with certain areas, and I kind of get in my head about things and make these mistakes or worry about what I need to do, and I wish it would just flow. Like,
If you don't get in your head, sometimes you don't get better.
I was gonna say is like your goal should be to go do some kind of riding shoot thing for Vital MX and not go to the hospital.
What
It's been a while.
What?
Yeah, we're on a good.
Yeah,
track.
I've been. Well, now we're going to Pulp Ride Day this
Yeah,
week.
but you're not like going there to like test for Vital.
I'm not, but I feel like you just jinxed it. So we're not going now. We're out. Everybody's out. All right. We'll talk about we can talk about the Pulp Ride Day here in just a second for a minute too. But let's do the Evans Coolant emails. And Evans waterless coolant protects your engine because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta USA, and Pro Factory Yamaha, and lots of other teams, regardless of sponsorship, Evans is in the bikes on the podium. Go get yourself some Evans coolant. Keep that thing cool. It's summertime. It's still nice and hot and humid, so you need the best coolant in the bike that you can possibly get. Evans coolant fits that bill. We had 2 emails this week. Actually 3. Let me jump into Vince Pale from T-Bolt USA real quick. He sent in just some observations. I mentioned this a few times, and I'm sure others have made the comparison. Chase and Jet are the new Ryans, Dungey and Villapoto. 2 guys that will be up front almost every race and take almost every championship, and the record confirms this over the last 4 championships, not including SMX. 23 Supercross Chase, 23 MX Champ Jet, 24 Supercross Motocross. You get it. Now that MX is over, it's really cool. We have 3 more SMX races, and okay, this is a separate topic. So he is kind of right. Those 2 guys have been the dominant guys. I kind of see the comparison where like we kind of feel like one of those 2 guys is going to win every week.
Yeah.
But I do feel Hunter is going to be the 3rd guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
see,
hopefully so
Hunter
will AP,
did
but
better.
Hunter definitely. I think there's going to be 3 in 25. I feel like those 3 guys are going to rotate those just like they did this year outdoors. It's going to those 3 the key podium guys all year.
My thing is with that comparison is I always felt what made the our Ryan versus Ryan thing was it was kind of the battle of consistency versus
Turtle versus the hare.
Yeah, raw speed. And I don't really feel like it's that Chase and Jed are different that way. I feel like they're kind of
they're
both
similar.
the same rider.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
Really,
in that way, he didn't specifically
don't think he meant
mean it that way. He's just saying there's basically two guys that are going to be the guys.
In that case, then,
But I do agree that they're different rider styles. Or Dungey and RV were very different riding styles, where Chase and Jed are much closer
similar.
in similarity.
Because it's funny because we were like, oh my God, Chase is like, he stands up and he's so smooth. And then Jet came in and it's like, Chase rides like,
he rides like a bulldog.
Yeah.
Vince also wants to know if we talked about this a little bit, I think last week when TJ was a dummy. But he says, do you guys think the SMX playoffs really qualifies as a championship?
I made a whole point about that.
Well, remind our listeners, since we seem to have a pretty big show tonight, what your point was.
My point was that the having the bonus to bring the incentive to bring these guys back, like we talked with RJ, he probably wouldn't have come back.
Yep.
If it hadn't have been for this, and a lot of those guys were the same case, like Tomac, and a lot of those guys wouldn't have come back. I think having a bonus for those guys at the end of the year, especially with a big purse like that, is awesome for the sport and heading in the right direction. I just don't know that we have to. I would love to be able to call it to be like the Super Bowl of motocross. We're like, hey, like if the only way that you can be this championship is if you were consistently the best guy in Supercross, motocross, but it's not really that case. Like you cannot do. Like we're gonna have like Tomac could technically win SMX playoffs. He didn't do he did 2 rounds of outdoors.
They could tweak it a little bit and make it a little like to where you have to be
things
more,
they probably should tweak, but to me, it still is a championship.
For sure.
It's definitely a championship. Is it as big of a deal or as important to me as Supercross or pro motocross? No.
Well, that's
in time. I
that's
hope that it can get to that where they figured out where it does mean a little more than it does to me right now.
Yeah.
Because right now, I do think to the riders, it's really about the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the most part.
And I also think that we should.
Also, we got the TV deal and all that stuff too. Like
we should be doing different things too, like have a Super Bowl at it that gets you extra points.
That would be cool.
Stuff like that.
Play with the format a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. But I would like to be able to. Hopefully, one day they can turn it to where it does really mean that you were the best. But that's kind of what I would. My thing is, you can win the SMX playoffs and not technically be the best rider that year.
I don't think they're steadfast on how it's going. I think
it's definitely making them money.
That's for sure. Willing to evolve it.
Yeah. I think they'll continue to tweak it over the years.
Okay, so 2 more emails. These are off moto topics, but last show you binge watched and fell in love with. You guys, anything that stands out?
Well, I've seen most of them before, but me and the fiance have been. Dexter came back on Netflix. We've been watching those. Those have been pretty good. That's the most recent one.
Yeah,
is we rewatched
Dexter and what was the other one?
Just rewatch.
Just Dexter. Okay, yeah.
Rewatch.
I don't watch a whole lot of new TV, but I did watch the whole series of King of the Hill not too long ago.
Yeah.
My grandpa grew up like watching it, so it's like a little comfort thing or whatever.
I've gone through the discography a few times.
Yeah, me too.
Discography. Whew. It's old school.
258 episodes, I think.
Like DVD. I mean, I guess you must be talking about. Like, I don't even know. Does anybody even have a DVD player anymore?
Yeah, no.
A discography just means their whole body of work.
I guess I'm thinking of physical discography when you said that.
It's not even streaming anywhere, so you gotta kind of.
King of the Hill's not.
It's on Hulu.
Is it?
Yeah, I have it on Hulu.
Well,
I watch it all the time.
We found it for free, so.
Nice.
Well, I wouldn't say binging, but I am trying to binge around work and writing and stuff. The new season of The Boys on Amazon
I need to watch
Prime.
that. I've been told about that a couple times.
Freaking great. Definitely not for kids, but The Boys. And then I binged the Receivers doc or whatever on Netflix about. They went through the whole last year with like 4 or 5, 6 receivers from the NFL.
Oh, okay. Kind of like they did Hard
George
Knocks
Kittle
or whatever.
and Debo Samuels from my 49ers. So what'd you say?
Kind of like Hard Knocks or whatever. Like
but it focused on like
but
6 or 7 receivers, which they did one on quarterbacks. And they did, so I binged that when it came out, and then I sort of rewatched it with somebody.
Right.
With somebody. It doesn't matter who. And watch it again.
I'm not going to dive into your personal life like everybody else does.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Discography. All of a performer's or composer's recording considered as a body of work.
Okay, cool. I
feel like it meant actual discs back in the day, and then it changed.
I felt that too, but But that's fine. I wasn't
We can
arguing.
both. Everybody can be
It's okay.
right.
Yeah.
I just
No,
thought
no,
I
only me.
literally thought you meant watching DVDs.
Nope.
He gets so butthurt. Like, do you need tissue?
He's
No,
gonna
I'm okay.
He's gonna have
You're
hell
just
of an
right.
RV
He's
for
gonna
all.
cry.
I'm just right. I'm just right. You're wrong.
One
It's
more of
okay.
these, and we'll talk about the Pope Ride Day, and we'll call it a night. The last one was, what's your favorite non-social media app that you use on your phone? Do you guys do anything? I mean, mine is again Mad Skills 3. I still jam that all the time, and Bands in Town app to see who's playing in the area wherever I'm at. I use that all the time.
YouTube, probably
Yeah.
because
Is that not social media?
I guess it
not
kind of
really.
is, but
It's probably not.
I did, like driving an 18-wheeler for all those years. All I did was listen to podcasts. Like
Yeah.
probably
So
30
the
a week.
podcast app would be a good
Yeah,
one, or
I just never got
Apple
into it.
Music.
I use Spotify for that too.
Yeah.
So
No, there you
either
go.
YouTube or Spotify.
Okay. Scotty? Are you opening
said-
your phone to look?
No, I'm just trying to think if there's one I'm not thinking of. I do like my Jersey
Bit of
Mike's.
it-
I do like my Jersey
Hey, I
Mike's
use
app.
that one a lot too.
I don't use any food ones. Like I had the McDonald's app and like Starbucks app, and I never use.
I use Domino's just because it's easier to
it
order.
depends. Yeah, sometimes I do. I like being able to customize stuff, and I don't feel like much
Yeah.
of a dick doing it online than I do like in
Well,
person.
some of the stuff I want you can't even get online. You
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah, I would
ask for
worry
it.
that like because I'm
There's-
so picky that
yeah,
you couldn't
I-
make your food the way you want on the app because it's limited.
No,
I
it's
definitely
actually
run into
there's
that with
actually
some
more
places.
options.
Oh, wow.
And there's usually a spot for comments, but
Okay.
I'll say I like any kind of poker app. Like I like playing poker, so
All right.
poker apps.
I've only played poker maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, and like there's no way I could play right now because I wouldn't know how to play.
I like playing like
Yeah.
just like
Any-
penny nickel dime or whatever. So there's
anytime
no
you
real
wanna
money in
play,
it. It's fun.
I'll
I
play it for
never
$20
really
bucks
like.
right now.
Yeah, I bet you would.
See, I don't like gambling for money that much. I get mad and I'm ready to fight
Yeah.
somebody.
No, I like the adrenaline of it.
All right, we're gonna do our EVS
called a
read. We'll do an
problem.
EVS hopes, thoughts, whatever on the Pulp MX Ride Day that we're getting ready to go to, and then we'll call it a night. Over the past 39 years, EVS Sports has established itself as a leader in innovation and technology when it comes to designing protection gear for today's motocross riders. Athletes like RJ Hampshire, Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Axel Hodges, and Travis Pastrana all wear EVS when they race, ride, or whatever Travis decides to do that day. So check out evs-sports.com and use the code VITALMX30, all caps, to save and gear up like the pros. The new Axis Web Eclipse knee braces out. They still have the old Pro and Sport knee braces, the TP199 and Slaco 96 knee guards, the technical undergear. I tell you guys all the time, I love that stuff when I'm working out. The shirts, the boxers, the padded shorts I wear is just regular boxers. I take the pads out. Love that stuff. So yeah, Pulp MX Ride Day is coming up at Lakewood this weekend. All 3 of us are riding up in TJ's motorhome. TJ can't go because he dumbass got a job again.
I knew it was going to happen. I thought it would happen
Yeah.
sooner, but
I'm just
I know
glad it
it's
didn't
kinda
screw
bummed.
us.
But,
Yeah, me too.
So we've talked about it a little bit, but Chase, what are you most looking forward to this coming weekend?
Man,
Besides making fun of
Yeah.
I'm ready to just talk shit all weekend, really. But
Yeah.
seeing some of the old pros ride, getting to share a track with people, I get to take pictures at somewhere that's. I mean, I just like taking pictures and stuff, like out in the mountains and stuff. So everything, like, I don't know, I can't find any downsides to it.
It's gonna be a good time. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I feel, especially after this weekend at Swan, I feel like I'm figuring the KTM out, so I'm a little more positive about how I'm going to be able to ride this weekend.
Yeah.
You guys are excited about the cooler weather. You've been
Yeah,
mentioning
78
that.
degrees on Sunday.
Oh yeah, dude.
Can't wait.
But I'm actually, I guess one of the things I'm most curious about is to how I react to elevation,
Yeah.
especially in that condition. I've been on top of, I went on top of Pikes Peak.
Top of Old
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pikes
no.
Peak's cool.
Pikes Peak, but
yeah.
I was also like 18 and ran cross country,
Yeah,
and so I
that's not
probably
very
didn't.
far from where we're at.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was probably a little better shape than I am now. So we'll see how it affects
I
me.
haven't done anything.
Carrying
Like,
a little baby weight.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't done anything.
Meaning it looks like you're
strenuous
pregnant.
at elevation.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
been up there a bunch.
It's there.
I'm pretty curious to see how the bikes react
Yeah.
Going
at
hungry.
elevation too.
Yeah, I've only rode there the one time for the Loretta's qualifier, and that was on a 450, so the 350 is going to be a lot different. But I think we're going to have a good time. Steve and the guys, they always put on a good event.
I'm really excited to meet Galdi.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier too.
Galdi.
What you know what he drinks? I'll grab some. on the
Everything?
way up. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, whatever's around.
We'll figure
just
it
throw
out.
it all in a
Yeah, whatever's around, he'll drink probably. It's going to be a good time. If you guys are decide to tune in to the Pulp MX show tomorrow night, make sure that you let them know our show was a lot better tonight than his show.
We actually had a lot of comments saying
Yeah.
that. So
Let's go.
it's facts.
Really
It's just 'cause I was on here.
It's facts now. Yeah. Good job, Chase.
I want to thank
Thanks for
Haiden
stepping up.
Deegan and RJ Hampshire for coming on the show. I want to thank Race Tech and Yamaha Motor USA for being the presenting sponsors, and also shout out to Guts Racing, FXR, X Brand, Pro X, EVS Protection, Evans Coolant, T-Bolt USA, Barnett Clutches. Thank you to you guys for allowing the show to happen. Thank you to our listeners. We'll be back next week with a Tuesday night show wrap up after the Pulp MX Ride Day. I believe Malcolm is going to be on the show next week, Malcolm Stewart. Other than that, not 100% sure, but we'll be back. Thanks, guys.